Avs.
Oh, I should have known that.
5th, Elias Pettersson to the Canucks. That is insane. Nolan Patrick is shoved in the middle of that.
So if you make that mistake, it puts you in the position that the Flyers in now, where they're going to go 10 Metropolitan Division seasons without winning a single playoff round, making only 3 appearances, having their best moment come in a bubble, winning 1 round after you got in a shortened season. It's been really, really bad for the Flyers. And before the Metropolitan Division was established, they were a league power, went to the final in 2010. The Flyers were annoyingly great, always good with the teams with Claude Giroux, Wayne Simmons, Scott Hartnell, go down the line. They were always a really meaningful franchise, and they haven't been now for 10 years. It's been really ugly.
Marty Necas, 12th overall in that draft for the Hurricanes. Nick Suzuki, 13th overall. It's a tough
Even
one.
The Devils with Hischier, good player. Again, Selke upside, but
Jake Ottinger was drafted 26th overall in that draft. And the Flyers did draft Morgan Frost in that draft.
You can ask our producer, David Sist, if Nolan Patrick was a stud in junior.
Yeah, I don't know.
Must have been pretty good.
It's unfortunate. Okay, let's do the Maple Leafs lines tonight because we do have some changes. And on the other side of the break, we don't have we have a real quick segment before puck drop, so get you set.
I'm getting the lines very quickly here.
Justin's getting them.
You put me on the spot.
I thought you'd have them.
Well, we're talking to Kevin Kurz. I'm looking for the lines. We expect Matthew Nyes, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner to play together. Bobby McMahon, John Tavares, and William Nylander. The big changes, Scott Ladd playing on the third line, left wing with Max Domi and Nick Robertson. The fourth line will be Steven Lorentz, David Camp, and Callie Yarncroke. It'll be Jake McCabe and Chris Tanev, Riley and Carlo, of course. And we talk a lot about Lawton not working out. Carlo's been great. Simone Benoit and Oliver Ekman-Larsson form the final pairing there with Anthony Stolarz going for the Maple Leafs against Samuel Ersson, who is not one of the Russians who are not going to be with the team next year, according to Kevin Kurz.
Yeah, their goaltending has been pretty bad. Okay, so Scott Laughton getting a different opportunity tonight. We just talked about it. We were anticipating him to get a chance on the third line, but he's on the third line on the wing. I don't know. I just need to see him center because everyone's like, "Woo, he's just supposed to be a third line center." So I want to see him on third line center, but Domi is third line center. So.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the question now. You haven't been in the same situation as Scott Laughton. You didn't enter the transfer portal, go to Yale, and have a really difficult, last season.
Goodness.
But I just don't understand why you can't unconsciously play the game just because you're in new colors. Mm-hmm. Like maybe you're waiting for this moment and the finality of it, moving on after so many years. But playing hockey is the same. It may be a different system, and maybe that's somewhat paralyzing for Scott Laughton. But just getting in on the forecheck should not be inhibited by really anything except the opposing team.
I think totally. That's the really easy take. And I think that makes a lot of sense. But I just think there's a little bit more to it. How many years was he a Flyer? 14?
He was there for a while.
12? He was there for so long, and then your life is uprooted, your family's uprooted. These are excuses. I get it. You're a pro athlete. You're making millions of dollars. I don't know. I just think there's that. There's the pressure of being a guy from Toronto, and we're all like, oh, my God, he's a Toronto boy.
Seriously, though, you have a stressor in your life, right? Yeah. You're playing hockey. Are you on the ice thinking about the stressors and the difficulties in your life? Really?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, so maybe I'm being a little bit I'm overlooking it.
It can be.
But I feel like that's when you can actually get away from that pressure is when you're playing hockey.
Maybe, but you're also playing hockey in the biggest market where there's the most pressure. This team has not been living up to expectations. You are coming in as a super excited fix for the third line. And I think that might outweigh the joys of skating around at Scotiabank Arena in the blue and white. It can be stressful.
I would just say maybe that's part of it why Leafs don't have the same assimilating power because there is more, and maybe your buddies are wow, you were brought in to fix this third line.
Buddy, you're
it's
a
all
Leaf.
on you,
it's
dude.
Your dream
this
come
is so
true. Get me tickets.
At the end of the day, I just think hard work fixes those things. Just strap on the helmet and go out there and play hard. And I think these things will come together for you. But
easier
again,
said than
maybe
done.
This is a little reductive on my part.
I don't know. We should ask Scott Laughton. Why aren't you producing? Why do you have 0 points in 8 games, Scott? And maybe he'd tell us.
And it's not even about the points. If you're just productive, you don't have to score. And I don't know, maybe you can do it from the fourth line. Maybe you can do it from the third line spot. Maybe it doesn't really matter. But I just think it's a shift-to-shift thing.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in stock, ready to deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. They come.
What's up, insiders? How we doing this evening? Go Leafs, go! It's time. Our buds are back on the ice. We got to recoup from whatever that garbage was in Nashville and bring it home tonight against the Flyers. We're back at home. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Who we got in the chat? There's Carmen, Brad, Popo's in the house from Mongolia. I love it. We've got Anthony Young, Mr. Roboto, Antonio. What's up, everybody? Good to see everybody here in the chat tonight. I am absolutely exhausted. I am just drained right now, and I am just going to enjoy this Leafs game tonight with you guys in the chat, listening. I might get the game on the TV. I don't know yet, but getting a lot of work done, getting ready for Blue Jays season opener on Thursday. Early day game, Thursday afternoon. Make sure you're here hanging out with us as we prepare for the next round of Bracket Mania and the March Madness games. We're going to have 4 games on Thursday, 4 games on Friday, and then 2, of course, on Saturday and Sunday. But tonight we're here for hockey. Thank you all for hanging out with us. I don't even have a drink to give the cheers to. Hey, there's Alexander Skull in the house, and hopefully his brother David as well. Mark Duffney. Mark, good to see you, man. Good to see you, Mark. And hey, let's have some fun. Let's keep it classy. And cheers with my imaginary drink because I need to go and make one. Drink of choice tonight and most nights. Johnny Walker Black Label. Keep walking. All right, we'll get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you in the chat, everybody.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then, we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not. And then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the Sirius XM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable.
Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
The world's most thrilling league is now in the palm of your hand. Hear every English Premier League match all season long on the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favourite team.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Eilish Forfar, Justin Cuthbert. We just spent the last hour teeing up tonight's game. It's the Flyers and the Maple Leafs. It is Scott Laughton versus former team and Anthony Stolarz versus former team. And a good opportunity for the Leafs to get back in their winning ways after dropping a easy win, I guess is the best probably way to say it, on Saturday night against Nashville. Leafs play tonight at home, and then they hit the road, play the Kings, the Ducks, and then they come back home and play the Panthers. Weird schedule.
Yeah, another narrative pivot point, right? Like it was all gravy last week, and then you run into Nashville and you have a bad performance, and I guess you can't keep that momentum going. But if the momentum works the other way now, and it's losses in succession to Philly and previously Nashville, it's what the conversation is going to be like. 2 points you should have tonight. You got to go out and get it. It's important in this race for the Atlantic Division crown to win a game like this one.
Okay, so let us take a look at your key to victory. Brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Up your game. Lease a CRV Sport from 1.99% up to 36 months. Visit HondaOntario.com.
If you take care of the 5-on-5 minutes tonight, chances are you'll be okay because the special teams advantage should belong to the Maple Leafs. The Flyers have the fourth worst power play goal total so far in the NHL this year. It's a bad power play. They don't have much firepower, and the Leafs right now are clicking on the power play. 41% in March, 11 goals on 27 opportunities. So, yeah, maybe there are not many power plays in this game and therefore not many chances to create a advantage. But if you break even at 5-on-5 and it goes down to those power plays, the Maple Leafs should feel pretty good about themselves. You want to go to the player to watch?
I would. Thank you.
Brought to you by or presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca. I think I know where you're going with this one.
Steven Lorentz. Oh, I'm just kidding. Scott Laughton. All right, it's Scott Laughton night. Scott Laughton mania tonight at Scotiabank Arena. Now we have talked about how he hasn't quite broken through with the Leafs. Well, he's going to be on a different line tonight. Laughton, Domi, and Robertson. I like the at least more offensive approach and sense if I could see him putting one in the net, even if it bangs off his elbow and in. It's going to happen. Scott Laughton goals plus 650. He has gotten no points yet with Maple Leafs, but why not do it against your former team? And if you're feeling spicy, he's 35-1 to get the first goal of the game.
Okay.
Are you feeling spicy?
At 35-1, it's hard not to.
I think it's a little spice of life here.
There you go. Big one for Anthony Stolarz, too. Of course, these teams go back and forth, or these goalies go back and forth. Joseph Woll maybe leaving the door open. We can continue to do this all year long or for the rest of the year.
Boy.
We don't have to, but Anthony Stolarz has another chance to add a positive data point to his resume.
Okay, it will be puck drop on the other side with our best friends, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph, who had a very special visitor. Mike Myers was in the booth.
We got to get back to Scotiabank.
I know. I wish I could have just been in the room listening to those three chat. But it will be puck drop with Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Opening day is this week, and the time is now to get your fantasy baseball draft advice on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I want to thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
From winning strategies, expert drafts, player projections, and more, you need our advice now more than ever.
When in doubt, wait for starting pitching. Don't overspend early when plenty of great arms will be there in later rounds.
Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the Sirius XM app. Your home for fantasy sports.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status, and SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best, former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scores!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that, you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into.
There you go. Big shout out to Mike St. Jean. $5 super chat. What's up? What's up, Mike? I came in here because I was tired and I was just gonna chill tonight. But then I got the biggest momentum boost by this chat. Go Leafs go. It's fired up. Everybody's rocking it out here in the chat. Puck is dropping momentarily. I'm fired up. Screw it. I got work to do down here. We're getting the Blue Jays set up for Thursday. We're going to rock it out and keep going with March Madness and cheer on our buds. Thank you all for being here. I've got a special message from Joe Bowen himself that will be dropping around the SickKids Bracket Mania campaign, probably towards the end of the first period. We'll see you in the chat. Go Leafs, go!
Can you believe it? From the title race.
This is remarkable!
Keeps this title charge on track, surely!
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible!
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
We deliver the NHL.
And I just wonder, Berkey, what your thoughts are on the Capitals. They are Exhibit A as to why a retool can work.
Yes, but it's early. They haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking bows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. I think Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job. It is a retool, right? And the goaltending's been spectacular, but let's see. Don't pick out a parade route yet, boys.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to. He played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs home just to change underwear and pack another bag as they head to the West Coast to tangle with San Jose, Los Angeles, and Anaheim later this week. But tonight, the Philadelphia Flyers are here, meeting the Leafs for the 3rd time. And the purveyors of the Puck Palaces are brought to you by Molson. Molson, everyone in. It will be Samuel Urson in goal for Philadelphia, 19-14-5, 3.00 goals against, 886 save percentage. Anthony Stolarz, 14-8-3, 2.42, 918 the save percentage. Puck drop, we're underway, and we're glad that you're along with us as it goes down into the Flyer zone. At the point, kept in by Toronto, but a shot went off a body and caroms to center, and Robertson goes back to cover up. Got it ahead off Scotty Lawton to Robertson. A long shot blocked in front of the net. Harrison got it in front, but it was a juicy rebound that was cleared away there by the Flyers. Leafs have won the previous 2. They've won 9 out of 10 from Philadelphia. Riley for Brandon Carlo. Off a body and into the zone it goes. Matthews line over the boards for Toronto. Flyers against the boards. Paling getting it out at center. Can't get it into the zone, and Marner turns with it. His pass off a stick. Leafs are able to flip it back into the neutral zone and then regroup it in their own territory. And a long pass up on the left wing off of Marner goes down into Flyer territory. Marner blocks the clearing attempt, but Philadelphia will get it and send it out into the center ice area. Pelche was able to play it into the Toronto zone. Leafs back there to recover. Just nicely underway here in Toronto. Leafs trying to rebound from a disappointing 2 periods in Nashville, where they squandered a 2-0 lead and ended up losing with an empty net goal 5-2.
That's something that you just feel you should be able to lock down, right? So Nashville had lost 5 in a row.
And they weren't really going to get excited about anything until you gave it to them. And really started with a penalty right at the buzzer at the end of the first period. That led to a power play goal early on by Nashville in the second. And all of a sudden, the Nashville Predators got excited.
Leafs win the face-off. Benoit will shoot it in around the boards. It goes to the far side. Cam York coughed the puck up, but gets it into the near corner. And it is pushed out into the center ice area now, and the Flyers will get it into the Leaf zone for the first time. Knocked back towards the blue line, and it's brought back now by Bobby McMahon. Tried to get it ahead to Nylander, but it turns into an icing as Nylander couldn't handle the pass, and it's back into the Toronto zone.
Can't take Philadelphia lightly either. The Leafs did with the two previous games. They were back-to-back here in Toronto and then in Philadelphia. And both were 3-2 wins. Matthew Nye scored the winner late in the third period at Philadelphia, and Morgan Riley had an overtime winner here against Philadelphia. So even though the Flyers were sellers at the deadline, obviously as Scott Laughton was brought to Toronto, it's not like they've absolutely annihilated the Flyers in the two previous games.
Played off the boards far side, but the Leafs can't clear. Tanev will try for McCabe, who gets it around on the near wing. It bounces high in the air, and Matthews is out at center and in across the line on the left wing side. And a wicked shot off the shoulder, which was almost a Rickett shot, but it was off the shoulder of Person and knocked away. That had a little mustard on it.
Just above his wrist.
Yeah.
A Rickett wrist shot.
A Rickett wrist shot that ricocheted just off of the Rickett shoulder. And we're going to get a Rickett icing here now. It's gonna
really?
Well, I'm just thinking, some of the old equipment that we used to use, your arm would be dead.
Oh, yeah.
Dead.
Well, I mean, fortunately, nobody shot it like that either.
Oh, that's true. But my goodness, that was a rocket. Face off in the Leaf zone. Controlled by Toronto. Brought to center by Marner. He'll flip it in. David Camp into the forecheck as the remainder of the Leafs have gone to the bench. And the Flyers get it out at center ice, but an errant pass. Brandon Carlo will try to play it back at the net, but has difficulties with it. Now he's engaged against the boards, but it is grabbed off by Yarncrook. He'll play it up on the wing. Leafs can't get it out along the boards. He'll try the other side. Brandon Carlo will play it off the boards and get it out at center. Camp trying to kick it up to his stick, but fail. Puck along the boards, a couple of collisions. Wow. Two Flyers pounding away on the Leaf forward, and that is Calle Yarncrook. Not sure what he did to deserve all of that.
Delorier is one of the Flyers. And making look the second, but it almost looked like a scene of a slap shot. You had both guys hammering Calle Yarncrook, and Yarncrook was down, and Nick Seeler was the other.
Well, actually, they're gonna check for a tinfoil on to go into the bench.
But like you look down, and they were both just giving him the business. This was after they hit by Yarncrook on
Yarncrook's
Seeler.
Going to get a penalty.
Toronto number 19, minor penalty, boarding. Philadelphia number 24, roughing for removing the opponent's helmet.
All right, well, thankfully they took the helmet off for Philadelphia. I think was going to get away with it, but it was a bit of a boarding call. Kind of after the puck had been turned over back up to center ice. Calle Yarncrook gets him in the numbers. John Tortorella doesn't like the even up call, but
Michael Markovic is the referee that made the call. Jake Brink is the other official. Ryan Jackson and Mark Shuchuk from nearby Waterdown, Ontario.
Well, there's more than one connection between the Leafs and the Flyers tonight, right? From Craig Berube, Anthony Stolarz, Scott Laughton.
Stolarz, when the Flyers set a record for 8 goaltenders used back in 2018, I guess, as Nylander creeps in, takes it into the corner. Stolarz was one of the 8. Now Nylander circling to the near board, still has it. Works it into the slot. Played off the boards then to Tavares. Tavares working into the slot area. Stops up there. Flipped it in, looking for the defenseman on the far side. But it was intercepted, and now Philadelphia will organize as they're playing 4-on-4 here. Cam York takes it back into his own zone. Brought through center by Poehling. Passed into the slot area. Poehling missed that, and he narrowly missed impaling himself on the goalpost as he skated by it. Now brought in by Konechny. Shot delivered off the blocker of Stolarz. His first shot on goal. Brought back the other way by McMahon. McMahon dropping it back for Domi in front of the net. Oh, and it bounced over the stick of Jake McCabe as he was in alone. Domi in the far corner. Into the slot area it goes for McCabe. Back for Domi off the official. Domi now trying to center. He does, and a shot. Whistles wide of the goal. Morgan Rielly down the left wing. Got it into the slot for McCabe. Back in front of the net, and a shot by Rielly goes off his stick. Up into the screen, out of play. Some good puck movement there by the Maple Leafs, and a couple of decent chances.
Bobby McMahon and McMahon and Morgan Rielly have great opportunities in tight, but neither one can find the net. And before that, it looked like Jake McCabe was going to have the best opportunity of anyone. And a last-minute skip over his stick as he jumped down from the left point.
Face off in the circle to the left in the Flyer zone. Four-on-four for another 33 seconds. Zamula trying to get it out, gave the puck away. Leafs have it again. Dropped into the slot, just kept in as it comes to OEL. Rink-wide pass into the slot area is intercepted by Noah Cates, and he'll bring it out at center and get it into neutral ice. Flyers now throwing it around in the neutral zone a little bit. 10 seconds left before the penalized players will escape. And they're going to wait back at the Flyer goal to wait for just that. Brought out by Forrester. Now he sends it back into his own zone. Travis Sandheim got it ahead on the left wing, but can't get it in over the line. Leafs bring it back on the left wing boards, trying to get in as Lawton couldn't get a shot away. And it's along the boards to the far side. A hip check is going to turn into a tripping penalty. I thought it was a pretty good hip check, but apparently not, says the official.
Is it going to be a trip? Maybe more than anything. Nick Robertson going to the box.
Toronto, number 89, minor penalty. Tripping.
There we go. Face-off down to the right of Anthony Stolarz. Flyers with just the one shot on goal here to this point.
Penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Up your game. Lease the CRV Sport from 1.99% up to 36 months. Visit OntarioHonda.com.
And guess what? Philadelphia Flyers are in a streak. 0 for 30 in 12 games on the power play.
Draw scrum. The Leafs control. Jake McCabe banks it off the near boards and down the ice. It'll go.
Leafs, on the other hand, have given up 8 power play goals in the last 9 games.
Brink comes to center. Right wing for Forrester. Forrester plays it into the corner, intercepted by Toronto and punched out into neutral ice. Flyers will backpedal to their own blue line to reorganize. Brink getting it up on the left wing, a pass for Konechny. He loses it, and it's shot down the ice by David Kemp, and the Maple Leafs will get a wholesale change done on the penalty kill. Minute 22 to go in it. Flyers to center. Brink to the line and in on the right side. Drilled to the boards there by the Leafs' Benoit. Played along the wall, and it's going to go out on the far side and out in center ice territory once more. Flyers have not been able to get set up in the offensive zone. Second unit coming over the boards for John Tortorella. Drysdale to center. Shoots it in. Stolarz slowed it up. Played into the corner and shot out and down the ice by Austin Matthews. Wholesale changes again for the penalty killers. 40 seconds left in the infraction. Drysdale to center. Shot in on the right side. Got past Stolarz behind the goal. Stolen back and played up on the wing then by Tanev. It goes back into the corner. McCabe got there first. Lawton couldn't send it out. A centering pass. Knocked away. Lawton pushes it to the boards. It comes back to the blue line. Sent in again by Drysdale. Hammered around the wall this time, and out and down the ice it goes, courtesy of Jake McCabe, and the penalty will expire in 6 seconds' time. Robertson getting out of the box. Leafs back at full and even strength as the Flyers come in with a shot that was blocked. OEL gets it ahead for Nyes. Nyes launches it to center, and they can't find David Kemp, who was heading to the bench anyway. And Matthews and Marner coming over the boards. Or wait a minute. No, Nyes is there. There's a shot. Scores on a turnover. And the Flyers gain the opening goal of the hockey game. Brian Paling was in the slot, the turnover, and quickly out to him, and he hammers it past Anthony Stolarz.
Boy, and it was John Tavares that went to the far boards, trapped it along the hash marks, and then looked up. And by the time he was able to make a decision, he was cut off. The puck was stripped and thrown out to the top of the circle, and Paling just wound up and hammered it past Anthony Stolarz. And on the third shot on goal of the night for the Flyers, they take the 1-0 lead here.
8th goal of the season for Paling. And now are we viewing something that might be reviewable?
No, looks like we're going to play on. It's going to be 1-0 Flyers. I don't know, maybe they were looking at the
entry.
Now, do you remember Ryan Paling's first NHL game?
Yes. Multi-goal scorer.
2019, April 2019 against the Leafs. Scored 3 goals in his very first game. It was the last game of the season, so it's not like he got momentum out of it.
No.
And then he scored the shootout winner. But since then, he's played for both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Played out into the center ice area, knocked by the Flyers down into the Leaf end. Tanev reverses the puck. Jake McCabe getting it up on the wing for Nylander, and he badly misplayed that. And the Flyers have it again in neutral ice. 1-0 Philadelphia. Konechny trying to send it in, had it blocked, pushed ahead, and Willie skates through neutral territory and got it in over the line. Sent it into the corner for Tavares. He was too well covered. Puck up on the wing. A good hit there on the far side by McMahon, but the Leafs can't come up with the loose puck. Igor Zamula back in his own zone. Laid up on the right side, and Bobby Brink gets it into the zone on the right side, driving the net, goes around back of the goal to the left point. Sent back from whence it came, behind the net. Leafs get in there with some bodies. The puck's still free. Cates trying to get it out in front, and an errant pass goes on to Marner's stick, and he fails to get it out the first time, but is able to fire it out the second. Nyes forechecking, but the Flyers have it under control in their own end. A bank pass for Brink. Brink gets it into the zone, but the Leafs take it away from him. And now Benoit works in front of his own goal, then retreats behind the net. Both teams are changing. Puck comes ahead for Domi. Domi with a pass onto the left wing side for Robertson. Looking in front of the net. Here's Lawton after it. Lawton into the corners. It comes back to the point. Benoit shot. Glove save and an easy one for Ersson. And it'll be held for a face-off coming in the Philadelphia zone. Flyers lead 1-0 on a goal by Ryan Paling from Pelche and Abel. And it is 1-0 Flyers. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
They are going to the Sweet 16.
Hear every game of the men's and women's NCAA tournament on Sirius XM. Listen to Westwood One's coverage on your radios and on the Sirius XM app, so you don't miss an upset or a buzzer beater.
3 for the win. It's good. It's good. It's good.
To find game channels, go to SiriusXM.com/sports or search March Madness to hear Westwood One's coverage on the Sirius XM app.
They lead wire to wire. A thrilling finish.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
For months, I've been listening to hockey people warn the Sabres. Don't move on from Dylan Cousins. This is the one you'll regret. The fact that you're trading in division is amazing to me. This guy can come back and haunt you like every Sabre does. But I'm an Ottawa Senators fan, Jake, I'm over the moon on this trade.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to. He played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM
and the Leafs Radio Network.
Flyers lead at 1-0. First period goal came at 7:59. And the draw in the circle to the left of the Flyer netminder. Domi, Lawton, and Robertson for Toronto. Scratches tonight, Pontus Holmberg and Philip Myers. Domi tried to kick the puck back after a face-off loss, but failed, and now the Flyers have launched it high down into the Toronto zone. Trying to clear it there was Benoit, but it bounced over his stick. Tippett gets it back to the point, just kept in. I stand corrected. Not kept in. And it'll be brought back for the offside outside the blue line. No. Not often I have to stand to be corrected.
No, you usually sit. Yeah. Or lie.
Through my teeth.
Oh, down. That's what I meant. But yeah. Yeah, Philadelphia comes in on a 5-game losing streak, 0-4-1, and just 1 win in the last 11. But if you look at their games, I mean, the win was against Tampa. Win before that was in a shootout against the Winnipeg Jets. You know, they lost by a goal to Washington, so they are a team that can hang around in games if you take them lightly.
It is the old adage that the pressure's off. We're just going to go out and play. And you know what? There are really good players in this league, even on bad teams. And sometimes that bites you. Here's a chance now for a one-handed shot taken there by David Camp that was stopped. The puck on the far side. To the point it comes to Riley, a shot in traffic. Good screen by Lorenz, but Harrison was able to look around him and get the glove on it to stop play and a face-off in the Flyer zone.
One of the things that has been difficult for the Flyers to try to overcome has been the save percentage of the goaltenders. Team save percentage. Well, Samuel Harrison comes in with an .886 save percentage. Ivan Fedotov, .877. Them's are 80s numbers.
Yes. But you know, and everybody says that Toronto is hard on goaltenders. I don't believe that. But Philadelphia's had a history of being hard on goaltenders.
And I think probably Toronto,
you know,
Toronto, Philadelphia, Detroit's hard on goalies.
Yep. Centering pass in front. Tavares scores! Right off the face-off. A good puck retrieval back of the net. And John Tavares, who is on a bit of a hot streak, ties the game at 1.
And for Tavares, a little bit of payback. He had the puck stripped off him in the Philadelphia first goal and comes back and snipes one himself to tie it at 1. So that is now 4 goals in the last 3 games for John Tavares. And since coming back from a 6-game stretch, Joe, that he missed with injury, Tavares now has, during this stretch of coming back, 20 games, 11 goals, and 19 points.
And right from his office, right in front of the net, Nylander made a great pass to him.
It's been almost automatic, hasn't he, from that range?
He is so good down there. You know, you talk about going to the net. As the pass comes up at center for Nylander, across the line, left wing side, Tavares, back out into the slot. Nylander had it bounce over his stick, OEL tries to get around one check. Got it back of the net for Nylander. He works into the near corner. Into the slot area for Tavares. Tavares can't shoot it. Now running out of real estate, but got it to Benwood to the far side. A shot on a one-timer by OEL, and it was blocked. And now here are the Flyers coming to center. 3-on-2 rush, and Tavares is one of the defenders, and he does a good job of taking the pass away, and the Leafs have it back of the net.
Well, Tavares was actually headed for the bench. The puck bounced out of the zone, and he looked over his shoulder and thought he served the Leafs better stayed on the ice and trying to sneak a change in.
Yeah, I think somebody on the bench probably said, "Stay on, I don't need the minus." And he did, and made a good defensive play at it. Played down into the zone, and now Matthews works around back of the net. Matthews took a bit of a high stick there, but no call, says the official. Shot knocked away by Ersson, and it's cleared high to center ice by Philadelphia. Talking about Tavares and his office. Wouldn't you like, as we get a whistle, wouldn't you like to see Austin Matthews develop that kind of, because most of his shots are coming from outside. He's got such a great shot, but he's got such great hands at stealing pucks and everything else that he could sit in there and have a field day, one would think.
Yeah, well, the year he scored 69, there were a large number of those coming from that same area.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CR-V.
He's still got a chance to do that, right? I haven't looked at it today. I don't know how many points he's behind, but he's going to be one to...
Hey, insiders. First and foremost, Mike and Allison want to thank you for being part of this amazing community. With March Madness in full swing, we need your help. The TSI Bracket Mania campaign is raising money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto through the Final Four. A portion of the proceeds from every single game goes directly to SickKids. Click the pinned link in the chat or the description to donate. Every bit helps. Can't donate? No problem. Just share the campaign with your friends or on social media to make a huge impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Click the link, and holy Mackinac, let's help heal the future.
Bet365 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey.
The shot scores! Bobby McMahon with the shot from the right point.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Willie Nylander gets the lone assist on the Maple Leaf goal scored by Tavares. That ties the game at 1.
Well, Bobby McMahon did a pretty good job jumping in behind the net, taking his man for the puck to come loose. See, look at the replay again. That went off Cam York, Joe. Flyer defenseman at the side of the net with Bobby McMahon. So, fortunate bounce, bad bounce for Tavares on the first Flyer goal. Good one to tie it up.
Flipped back down into the Flyers zone. Goaltender out behind the net to pump it along the boards. Cut off by Domi. Slashed into the slot area, but no one there. And the Flyers get it out at center ice as Lawton steps into Travis Sandheim. Scott Lawton, the former Flyer, looking for his first point as a Leaf. Gets it in over the line, but had it knocked off his stick. His family, wife and young family, arrived this week. He was staying in a hotel, and last night his next door neighbor was John Tortorella. Wonder if he stayed up late, pounded on the door and made all kinds of noise, kept the stereo late. Here are the Leafs in over the line, getting it into the corner. Round back of the net. McMahon couldn't come up with it. Tavares forces it wide. Benoit pinches to keep it in the corner. Now McMahon, nice pass to Tavares into the slot area, and a shot. My OEL went wide of the net, may have been deflected. Kept alive for Bobby McMahon. He is knocked down on the play. The puck deflects and goes into the near corner. Nylander chasing. Got the stick up a bit, but no call. And the Leafs have to go back to their own blue line and deflect it in off of David Kamp's stick into Flyer territory. Now what?
Too many men?
2, 3, 4, 5 Leafs. Well, there's only 2 Flyers. So a whole bunch of guys decided I better get off.
And the first thing you do when you hear that is look at the Flyer bench and see John Tortorella's reaction, which is usually the same, sort of the head down and start to shake it. Yeah, this was Philadelphia had 3 guys going to the bench with 3 guys already on the ice. And we'll see if the Leafs can take advantage of it. Remember when the Leafs had a too many men on the ice penalty? Steven Lorenz scored shorthanded against Colorado.
Face off to the right in the Flyer zone. Leafs power play. Last 10 games, 11 of 26. They have it with a shot deflected in front of the net by Matthews and up into the screen at win.
Philadelphia gave up a couple of power play goals in Chicago on Sunday. One was a 5-on-3 that the Blackhawks were able to take advantage of. I like this, so you had 3 guys going to the net.
And off Tavares' stick and up into the screen. Tavares scrums the draw, goes into the corner. Matthews got there in a tie with Sandheim, and that's drawn a scrum. Tavares against the boards, got it back of the net, and it's going to be rattled around the boards and over the glass.
And it went off the glass first before it left. 1:43 to go here in the power play.
People down in the first couple of rows were ducking. 5:46 left to play in the period. Minute 43 left in the power play. Mitchkov is serving it. The Leafs with the man advantage. Tavares, Matthews, Nyes, Nylander, Marner. Tavares waved out. Matthews moves in. Tavares is 7th in the league in face-off percentage. Puck goes back to the net. Matthews trying to play it up on the wing to the far boards, was rubbed out, and it is shot down the ice by Philadelphia. Stolars will leave it there, and the Leafs are back after it in their own zone, dropping it off for Nylander. Nylander comes out straight up ice to the middle of the rink, to the line and in on the right side. Puck goes bouncing back towards the blue line, and it's shot down the ice by Philadelphia's Noah Cates. Leafs get it back out at center. Nylander drops for Marner. Marner cuts to the middle of the ice and drops for Nylander across the line to Matthews. Into the corner near side for Nylander. Trying to get it back and does to Marner. Off the boards to Willie again. Nylander back to Matthews, far side. Tavares into the slot. Matthews a shot. That was stopped by Nyes in front. The centering pass. They score! Nyes in front of the net, but Tavares was on the far post. And I think Tavares touches it last. And it is 2-1 Toronto.
Might have been of a Flyers skate as well, Joe. You're right, you had both Tavares and Nyes in perfect position. But this might have got past Nyes and off the skate.
Yes.
Of the Flyer defenseman.
And it'll be Nylander who gets the goal.
Yeah, it was Nick Seeler was a defenseman. Boy, and Philly had one like this go in Sunday against Chicago as well. It was thrown across the top of the crease. So, you know, you can look at the Flyer goaltenders and say, okay, here's another period where the save percentage is down. 777 on 9 shots. The save percentage would be both goals went in off Philadelphia defensemen.
39th of the season for Willie. He will tie Tavares with his 11th power play goal. And the Maple Leafs have a 2-1 lead with 4:42 to play in the first period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Opening day is this week, and the time is now to get your fantasy baseball draft advice on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I want to thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
From
Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go! Make sure to hit the like button and so you don't miss out on our
Tom,
content.
what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just telling the chat to like the video.
You telling everybody in the chat to hit the like button?
Yeah.
Nice job. Can you guys please hit the like button? This kid's awesome. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
No seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin from
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best. Former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin score!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not, and then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
In the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs lead it by a score of 2-1. 4:42 left to play, first period. Nylander and Tavares, the goal scorer.
And the bad news for the Flyer goaltending, they've taken a shot away from the Leafs. So 2 goals and 8 shots now. But like I said, I mean, here's one of the... I know we're only talking about 15 minutes into a game, but the save percentage looks horrible, and yet here's 2 that bounce in off the Flyer defenseman.
Shot down into the Toronto zone. Near boards, played back of the net for Tanev. Quickly pushed into the corner, and McCabe will try to move it up ice and does. Good play made there to take it off his skate by Yarncrook, who gets it ahead for David Kampf. Weak backhand is easily steered up into the screen by goaltender Samuel Ersson, and a face-off coming in the Flyer zone.
We've power play, by the way, now, and this being the 11th of an 11-game stretch, 12 for 27. So it's been something that's been a positive as the Leafs find themselves 7th overall in the NHL in the power play coming in. But it's amazing.
16th in penalty killing.
And weren't they down to around 14 or 15 in power play before this stretch?
Left wing side, Riley played into the corner, back of the Flyer goal. It comes back along the boards. Riley is able to pinch, but now it is brought out by the Flyers. Good play by Domi to block a pass by Paling, and he has to go back into his own zone to regroup it. Played out at center ice and in over the line. Riley getting it freed up for Brandon Carlo. The big defender goes into the corner after it to play it back of the net for Morgan Riley. He'll get it off the boards and out at center ice. Lawton unable to block a pass. It comes back out at center. Domi trying to play it in, and the Flyers will stretch things out. Both teams trying to get a change in as they go to their respective benches with 3.5 minutes to play. First period, 2-1 Toronto. Riley around back of the net. Gets it up on the left wing for Benoit. Cross the line for Tavares. Shoot into the far corner. Nylander unable to get to it the first time, but chips it around back of the net. Tavares in pursuit, lost his stick. Flyers get it to the line, but not out. And now it's poked out at center and carried by Forrester into the Leaf zone. And a low shot just missed that far post. Another shot hits the side of the goal on that side. Flyers play it around to Drysdale at the near point. Drysdale off onto the left wing side, looking for a return pass. Then it comes across, and unable to get to it was Couturier in the corner. Shot wide again of the Leaf goal is caromed off the corner boards. Come all the way back into Flyer territory. Andrea playing it back now for Drysdale. Played to center ice, quickly shot back in and played right back out again by Philadelphia. A little ragged here in the center ice area where neither team able to move the puck about 10 feet. Now Stolar's playing it into the corner. Pass knocked away, nicely handled there by Nyes. Launched high to center. It's a high stick that will be waved off as the Flyers are playing it out at center ice. 2 minutes to go in period number 1. Leafs with a 2-1 lead. Shot into the Philadelphia zone. Sandheim unable to get it out. Leafs keep it in. Marner holds, still with it. Works back towards the blue line. Still with the puck. To Matthews coming down the slot, and he looked on the far side for Riley instead of shooting it. Now he gets another opportunity coming out from behind the net. Back to the point. Carlo is shot. Urson made the save on that. Yarncrook lost the handle on it. Played down into the Toronto end. And Carlo is back there. That young man has a very long stride. He is a large drink of water back there. Very solid on the defense. Leafs get it back into the Flyer zone. Zamula will get it out at center, but David Camp on the wing for Yarncrook, who just did get it in over the line. Flyers will bank it out at center, but Benoit has tied up his opponent, and Nick Robertson works it out of his own zone, trying to play it ahead. Stolen by the Flyers and almost set up back of the goal. Robertson will try the other side, but can't get it up on the wing. Carlo back of the goal for Benoit. Camp is out there as well. He'll get it to center. Chopped in over the line then by Lorenz. Leafs are changing with 34 seconds left to go in the period. Flyers give the puck away. And then stolen right back. Tippett brings it in on the left wing with a weak shot off a body that went wide. Pushed back of the net by Stolars. 19 seconds left in the period. Domi will get it out at center ice. Lawton couldn't get to his man in time to force a turnover, and it's cleared right back into the Toronto end. Back of the net. Domi leaving it there for McCabe. Tanev needs just 2 seconds to run off the clock, and that'll do it. Nylander from Nyes and Matthews is the go-ahead goal after Tavares from Nylander equaled the opening goal from Ryan Paling.
And the Leafs, how do you like this in March? We talk about how they moved up in the power play rankings this year. In the month of March, 42.9% on the power play, according to Armin.
If you can keep that going, I would suggest that's very beneficial.
Yeah. Now
we're really not too sure whether Armin's right.
Yeah, we're going to get Andrew to recheck that.
Good. Well, it shouldn't be you and I. You know that. We will step aside. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming your way. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Change is happening.
I've been having crying spells since the election.
And so is the conversation.
You're on Progress. Hello.
You care about the issues.
Day after day, they're stripping away rights.
We amplify your voice.
This is an important time to resist. I just want to encourage people, don't give up.
I'm grateful. I hear other people call in and say the same thing.
SiriusXM Progress is your channel for change. You're not just a listener. You're part of the movement. Listen. Engage. Progress. SiriusXM Progress 127.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status. And SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best. Former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scores!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then we feel comfortable.
What's up, insiders? All right. It's the first intermission. 2-1 Maple Leafs. That's what I'm talking about. We got to turn this down a little bit. I love it. The chat is fired up tonight. The buds are fired up. I've got the Blue Jays stuff going here. See that Blue Jays logo right there? We're almost ready for opening day. I can't wait. On Thursday afternoon for the Blue Jays and the Orioles live from the Sky Dome. We will be live right here on TSI. Great to see everybody here in the chat. Pike, what's up, Pike? Good to see you, man. Brandy Gale, good to see you, Miss Brandy. Thanks for hanging out with us. Rod Bottomley, Richard Fewer, the list goes on. There's Mr. Brennan in the chat as well. I love it. Burns in the house. Everybody's here. So, in the essence of the haters, Thank you for promoting that, Larry. Because yes, let's leave this link pinned in the chat, and maybe tonight we'll just spam Joe Bowen's Cameo link. And Leafs fans, go support his mission and get a personalized message through Cameo and help support SickKids Hospital in the process. That's what we do. Haters gonna hate, but that's okay. It just brings more excitement to the chat and more fun for us hanging out together here, rooting on our Leafs every single game. With that being said, I'm gonna go pin that link and spam it out and play the awesome SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign launch video that has been playing through some of the college basketball games, if you have not been joining us in those. And then we'll get back to the intermission. Go Leafs, go! Big second period ahead. We'll see you back in the chat. Don't forget, click that link and go check out Joe Bowen's Cameo page and get yourself a personal message from Mr. Joe Bowen himself. The tournament is here. March Madness is here. The craziness is here. Don't forget, hit that like button down below and share this link out so we can get more basketball fans here in the chat, hanging out with us, cheering on your favorite team.
Clayton steals it and lays it in. Clayton a good look. Hit 6.
Check out our new website, www.torontosportsinsider.com, and check out the link that is in the description as well as in the chat that shows where all of the live viewers are watching from. Are you an insider yet? Have you hit that subscribe button? I bet you have now. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for checking out our Bracket Mania campaign. A lot more coming up soon.
Comer.
Haters just haven't been able to do so. Bernard Thompson with a 3.
This is over. What a great scene this is.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us.
To see what he's done in his career versus the Maple Leafs. It is just his 4th goal in his 12th game, or his 11th game, sorry, versus the Leafs. So it hasn't been dominant since that dominant night he had in his first game, but he's not a big time scorer. The 4 goals he has against the Leaf now are tied for as many as he has against another team, and he's only scored in 2 games. So Poehling, I think he'll always be juiced up to play the Leafs based on what he did in his first game, but this isn't necessarily a guy who's supposed to be scoring loads of goals.
With that John Tavares, he gets credited for the goal, shooting off the bodies. But, last time we were on the air, I think it was a week ago, that's when he got his 1100th point. Okay. And it's just another sign of like how great of a contributor he is this year. It's basically point per game. I think he's got 62 now with 63 or 4 games played. Just a very consistent guy, and you'll love to see he's a big body presence in front of the net, kind of Matthew Nyes-esque, or Matthew Nyes is Tavares-esque. But another good opportunity. Leafs are an NHL best, 42.9% on the power play in March. That's crazy.
I mean, that is a huge stat for the Maple Leafs, something that they hope will carry over to the playoffs. We mentioned in the pregame, the key to the victory was, if you split it 5-on-5, you're probably going to get some at even strength. The Flyers haven't had the opportunities the Maple Leafs have had, but the Maple Leafs have cashed on their opportunities, and it sets themselves up to have themselves a win that they need here if they can continue to hold on to those 5-on-5 minutes and create those advantages in special teams.
We will take a quick break. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard. A lot of big games tonight. Big playoff.
Big night in the NHL.
Big playoff points on the line. Some teams needing some. It's must win, but it's pretty close. Then we get the President's Trophy battle also happening. So we'll get you an out-of-town scoreboard and we'll get you set for the second period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in.
I'm loving this chat right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great chat. Excuse me. But yeah, what an idea there, Shield. Cheers to you again with my invisible drink, because look, I still haven't even gotten the damn drink going yet. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff that goes into running these chats and graphics and all this stuff. It's a lot of fun and I love it, so don't let me kid you. But big shout out to Shield there with that idea for the chat to find out, where were you watching? When did you find Toronto Sports Insider? When did you come across your first Leafs game, or your first baseball playoff game, or your first NHL playoff game last year when we decided to start covering every single game from the second round on after our buds got knocked out? But this year's going to be different. Our buds are going on a run, I have a feeling. Knock on some wood, knock on anything at this point, because I don't want to jinx anything. But go Leafs go. We'll see you back in the chat. Let us know in the poll where you found us at. I did vote 0 to 1,000 because, I remember being the first subscriber to the channel when I created it, and it was like 0. Oh my God. And went to my soccer channel and hit that 1. And that was the first subscriber of the channel, and we've had so many legends come here along the road. I remember hanging out with Richard Fewer the night that we passed 10,000 subscribers, and we let it run through after the game. It was after the Phoenix Coyotes game. The team doesn't even exist anymore, and we let the stream run for probably about an extra 2.5 hours waiting for the people who would come along after the game looking for the game that subscribed. And the rest is history. Here we are. We're on our way to that plaque, going to get that 100K. Thank you for the comments there on that video. Big shout out to Leafs Jelly HD. You all know his highlights. The quickest in the business, the best in the business, matched up with the best announcer, Joe Bowen, and Jim Ralph's call. Big shout out to Leafs Jelly HD for the help with that video, and lots of videos in the future. Working together with Jelly is amazing. You rock at what you do, sir. We'll see all of you back in the chat in the second period. Go Leafs, go.
5 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's a 2-1 lead for the Leafs after 20 minutes, almost at 40. It was a quick period, though. It is flying by. We got an out-of-town scoreboard for you. The NHL scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca.
There are some huge games in the NHL tonight, a couple with major playoff implications. Only 3 others ongoing right now, though. The Senators and Sabres are 1-1 after 1. Dylan Cousins has a point against his old team. It's 4-0. Lightning leading the Penguins after 1. You mentioned it, Nikita Kucherov breaking the 100-point barrier tonight with a point in that 4-0 lead. The Predators have a 1-0 lead, end of 1 over the Hurricanes. Still to come tonight, the game of the night, Canadiens and Blues, 2 teams that are suddenly in playoff position in the East and Western Conference wildcard positions, respectively. Then we have a President's Trophy battle, Washington and Winnipeg. From Winnipeg at 8 p.m. We'll see if Ovi can add to his goal total. It'll be Golden Knights and Wild a little later. Red Wings and Avalanche as well. The Flames will host the Kraken, and the nightcap will be a rematch of the 2014 Stanley Cup Final between the LA Kings and New York Rangers.
Okay, what did you make of the Scott Laughton revenge period 1? Didn't see him much.
Yeah, I didn't really make much of it. Again, like I just go back to this thing, like hard work. Can we just see some energy, some shifts? It should not be paralyzing just because your old team's in the building. Again, like I don't think they were overly used. There were some power plays late in the period, which would obviously shelve Laughton. But I just like to see some impactful shifts, some noticeable shifts. I think the knock with Laughton right now is that like you just don't see much from his shifts. I think that's got to change.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like this is a great opportunity to say, well, you know what, I'm not overwhelmed by the moment. You're a Canadian guy. It's a great opportunity. You're a Toronto guy. It's a good like perspective moment for him to just have a good game in front of his old team. But he still got 40 minutes. It's not that it was a bad start. It just I wanted a little more. Get in there and make something happen in front of the net.
I actually think playing your old team should help in this scenario. Just like lay somebody, have a laugh. Like that's all fine. You need to see the energy. You need to see something happen out there. And I think it should be actually easier playing your old team in that regard, where you can just get in on a forecheck, maybe mix it up in a scrum because it's not all that serious mixing up in a scrum against a couple buddies.
Okay, we got a minute left. Anything we left unsaid about the Maple Leafs?
I mean, you were talking about Tavares. You're right. Like he's going to live out the contract in full. Like there's no second guessing on a 7-year deal that's going to make him one of the most productive players in the NHL, at least in that second tier of productivity in the NHL all the way throughout. It doesn't change the future conversation, though. They got to figure out a way to keep him, I assume, unless you want to make pretty widespread changes here. And at that point, you got to figure out what number works, and keeping in mind that this is a slightly diminishing asset, just not diminishing at the rate I think a lot of people called 7 years ago.
Okay, it's a 2-1 lead for the Maple Leafs after 20 minutes against Philadelphia Flyers. We'll take a quick break. Jim Ralph and Joe Bowen will have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Opening day is this week, and the time is now to get your fantasy baseball draft advice on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I want to thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
You know I had to come in on this one. Steve, hey, dude, that typos happen. It's a chat on phones, all right? Typos, I always get typos in my stuff. But that's what it's all about. Here on TSI, it's all about SickKids Hospital. I would not be alive today if it was not for SickKids Hospital. My mother lived in that hospital, grew up at that hospital as a child with juvenile diabetes, and the research that they've done there for insulin. And, I mean, look it up, ladies and gentlemen. Insulin was basically first implemented at SickKids Hospital. And it is my honor and privilege to be able to have a platform with a group of people from around the world to cheer on our Toronto sports teams and make a difference in many, many children's lives in the way that they've impacted my life and possibly your lives, depending on that connection. So with that being said, you reminded me I've got to get the January revenue percentages sent in to SickKids immediately before the Thursday games start up for the March Madness. So we're going to do that tonight. Maybe I'll do that during the second period. Take a break from the Blue Jays stuff. Go Leafs, go. Big second period ahead. Go SickKids Hospital, go. Thank you all for the amazing support. Thank you for the donations. over the time. And thank you for just being here. Just being here makes a difference, because that revenue donation I'm about to make right now, we're going to talk about it in the second intermission. We'll talk more about it then. Go Leafs, go. And Larry, I love it, man. Keep it up, baby. Keep it up, Larry. Cheers, buddy. I wish I had a glass to cheers Larry. But there you go. We'll see you back in the chat.
Behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Radio Network.
Leafs leaded by a score of 2-1 over the Philadelphia Flyers. Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph. Armin Zagarian here. Not really sure why, because Kalish Borpar and Justin Cuthbert are back at the studio. Austin Mackey pushing buttons back there, and yeah, I know, he's waving. Andrew Holland's waving at him. He's here.
I'm aware. He's right beside me.
Yes.
Over there.
Over there. But if you look over here, Leafs to the left and the Flyers to the right. And we get ready for the face-off. The Domi line starts and the puck is dropped. We're underway. Morgan Riley off the boards, tipped there to Domi. He's going to flip it into the corner. Robertson hustles in with a hit but can't come up with it. Lawton steps into his man. He goes down, but the puck now pushed around back of the net. Lawton with another hit on a former teammate, and Tyson Forrester, just to make things worse, he then steps into Standheim. He's had 4 hits in this shift. Shot back down into the Toronto end. Near boards for Carlo. Long lead pass on the left wing. Tipped into the zone. Rolls to the side of the goal. Lawton will head to the bench as the Flyers organize in their own zone. Get it down into the Toronto end. Just a rolling puck. Scooped aside there by Stolars. And on the near boards, Tanev runs into a traffic jam and has the puck turned over. Centering pass intercepted by Jake McCabe. Back for Tanev. Off the boards to center. Just out of the reach of Matthews. Flyers get it back in neutral ice, and here's Couturier. Then across the line. Bad pass. Bounces away, but then is stolen back, and a chance now with a centering pass. Oh, what a save made by Tanev. He stretches out and makes a block. That was 4/6 of empty net if he doesn't. Leafs get it back in their own zone. Flipped out at center ice for Tavares. Knifed on for Bobby McMahon. Back for Tavares, just out of his reach. Scooped aside by the Philadelphia goalkeeper. Pretty good play by Tanev, wouldn't it?
Well, it almost looked like a comedy of errors, though, to get it there.
Centering pass in front, they score! Nylander setting up Bobby McMahon on a turnover and a quick strike, and the Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
Maybe the key to this goal, Joe, is that John Tavares doesn't touch it. He had gone to the front of the net. McMahon was behind him. And as Nylander circled the net and threw it out front, John Tavares looked as if he was going to reach for it to try to play it and then let it go. But before that, Leafs give up a great opportunity in front of Anthony Stolars, and fortunately, it doesn't result in a shot on goal.
I thought Tanev had blocked that. And you're right, it was completely fanned on and rolled into the corner.
An important goal for the Leafs now after giving up the first goal of the game. They've scored 3 straight.
Here's Carlo. Shot blocked, chopped back to the blue line. He intercepts it, but now the Flyers regain possession. Sandheim in on the left wing, and a shot off the side of the net on the short side. Sandheim with it again, getting it back to the blue line. Long shot, and an easy glove save by Stolars, who elects to hang on and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone as a result. McMahon gets the goal. It'll be his 20th of the season. Nylander with the assist.
And so with that is, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that have hit the 20-goal mark this season for the Leafs. Matthew Nyes hitting the 20-goal mark for the first time. He sits at 25.
And that's a career high for Bobby McMahon. He had 19 a year ago, 15 the year previous. Assisted by number 88. And he is a great story, isn't he? Colgate University, bounced around a little bit, played with the Newfoundland Growlers, and found his spot here, and now is one of the power forwards that the Leafs lean on, and a 20-goal scorer to boot.
Sneaky speed.
Yes. Played around back of the net for Yarncrook. He has it in his skates on the boards, but it's pushed up on the wing. Tanev is able to keep it in and is able to play it in deep again into Flyer territory. Andre trying to find a man and works around back of the net. 3 minutes into the books, and the Maple Leafs have extended the lead. And it's a 2-goal lead as Domi gets it ahead for Robertson. And he stepped into his man, and now Lawton has come in.
That was Emil Andre, I think, was the one that stepped up into Robertson.
I thought Robertson delivered the hit, though. He kind of got wind of him and kind of propelled himself into the hit. But
he did not try to avoid contact.
No, he didn't. No.
Scott Lawton went right over to the Flyer defenseman and paid his respects as well. Now, we already mentioned Ryan Poehling was the only Philadelphia goal in this game. We mentioned his first NHL game, the end of the season in Montreal against Toronto. 3 goals, plus had the shootout winner. It doesn't count as a 4-goal game. There's only one player in the NHL that's had a 4-goal game this season, and that's Scott Lawton. Scored 4 in a win over the Detroit Red Wings. That's also where he's got his only shorthanded goal of the year.
Shot into the Flyer zone. Willie Nylander has a tidy little 3-point night going. Goal and 2 helpers. As it's pushed out and down into the Toronto zone, and Tanev will have to hustle back. He reverses the puck for his defense partner, who reverses the puck for Matthews, who pushes it up to Marner, and a pass off a high stick is controlled by Tanev, and he has to go back into his own end. Jake McCabe on the right side off Matthews' stick. Played to center ice by the Flyers, in across the line, left wing side for Michkov. A shot rings off the goal post and goes off the crossbar up into the screen and out of play. Face-off will be in the Toronto zone. 15:58 left to play in the period. And the Leafs now with a 3-1 lead and a 12-4 shot advantage.
Michkov, that you just mentioned, comes into the game 3rd overall among rookie scorers. There's 3 points back of Lane Hudson in Montreal and Macklin Celebrini in San Jose, and a goal behind Celebrini as far as the overall goal scoring leading for rookies this season.
Leafs will see Celebrini on Thursday night. A god-awful time for a hockey game. 10:30. We'll be up late. Rolling puck in on goal is smothered by the Flyer netminder and held for a faceoff. Why would they play so late? Do they not understand people back here go to bed early, earlier times?
Only in Edmonton.
Oh, only in Edmonton.
Yeah, they're well aware and very accommodating. And never mention it.
No. Sometimes it's tough taking a shot at our friends out there without.
I mean, I still love my favorite game this year was the 2:00 start in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think it's great. You got the rest of the day to do something. Yeah. I mean, I didn't, but I still had the option.
You don't do anything anyway. Face off one, and Nylander with a shot, and it deflects into the far corner. Neither of us have a life after all of this. What else would we do?
PlayStation.
Oh, right. Back to the point, Brandon Carlo. Can't shoot it at the net. Gets it back of the goal. Tavares with it. Tavares holds, spins in the corner. Still with it. Laid it off there. Nylander, who is engaged. Tavares can't get to it. Pushed up on the wing, and the Flyers just get rid of it. And it will go enough for icing, and Carlo easily wins the race with Tyson Forrester. So it's back down into the Flyer zone. It will come. Can John Tortorella survive this season with the Flyers?
You mean and come back next year? I mean, I think there's a lot they like about how he handles the younger players. He makes them accountable. I mean, you had, Owen Tippett was dropped to the fourth line. He's on the third line tonight. Mitchkov has been benched, sat out games for not performing well. So it's tough love, absolutely. But I think that might be what Keith Jones and Danny Briere are looking for is, let's not baby these guys into their early parts of their career. Personally, I love John Tortorella.
Played off the boards and in across the Flyer line, but the Leafs can't come up with it. And turning back up ice is Delorier. He'll play it down into the Toronto end.
Having said I love Tortorella, I don't think I would have liked playing for Tortorella.
Yes. Leafs get it across the line with Lawton. Trying to flip it in front of the net. Oh, and Domi had it knocked away by Erson's right pad at the last second. Good scoring opportunity there. Lawton back in his own zone. Benoit carries down the left wing. Flipped into the corner and down in behind Philadelphia's net. It'll be played up on the left wing. Andre got it out at center ice, and it's played back down into the Toronto zone. Flyers bank it back to the point. No shot delivered as it comes off, and now a shot drilled to the net. Stolar's out at the top of the crease, makes the save, and now we get Benoit and Delorier with a little push and shove session going on in front of the Toronto goal. Nothing more develops here. The Leafs 3 and the Flyers 1. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news coming in.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Leafs game. Now that we've got your attention, Tom has something to say.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell for some notifications for all the streams that we have on TSI.
You know it. If it's a Toronto sports game, we're live. The Maple Leafs, the Raptors, the Argos, TFC, Blue Jays all summer long. Thank you so much for becoming an insider and hitting that subscribe button. Now let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go!
Lease with rates from 1.99% for 36 months, plus get a $1,500 Honda bonus. OAC conditions apply. Made with domestic and imported parts. See HondaOntario.com.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists? The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Face-off coming in the Toronto zone to the left.
That goal, that shot, just the fifth shot on goal for the Flyers tonight. Ryan Poehling scored on their third shot. 7:59 into the first period. So that's what, 2 shots on goal in the last 19 minutes, almost.
Well, there's been 19 total in the game, and 4 of them have gone in.
No, I'm talking about the Flyers.
Oh, no, I'm talking about
shots.
everybody.
Yeah.
No, well, save percentages at either end aren't all that good. Here the Flyers back in over the line on the right wing side. Unable to shoot it was Tippett. He gets it back to the point. And then a shot from there off the stick of Sealer. Deflected just wide of the Leaf net. Back of the goal. Brandon Carlo got it up off the wing. Yarncrook couldn't carry on. And David Camp backpedaling in his own zone. Secures the puck. And Carlo gets it up ahead. But Benoit couldn't handle his pass. Now Benoit will have to go back. Round back of the net, Oliver Ekman-Larsson got it off on the far side for Benoit. Benoit sends an alley-oop through center, settled nicely by Matthews, but he couldn't flip it around the defenseman. Comes back out at center, and Nyes works it back in and skips into the left wing corner after it. Chopped at it there, but couldn't come up with it. Bouncing puck goes off the boards and out at center ice, and the Flyers will get to the line and in. Here's Couturier onto the left wing boards. Couturier goes back of the net, trying to find the puck in the far corner. Left it for his defenseman. Zamula played it back in along the boards. Matthews unable to get to it. Now back to the point it comes. Zamula sends it back into the slot, coming right out in front, and a shot goes off the side of the goal. Stolars had gotten over there. I don't think it would have gone in. Konechny along the boards, got a return pass and a shot. That was stopped. Leafs are hemmed in their own end, and Marner tips the puck free, and now Nyes to center ice will roll it down into the zone. Nyes, it's a Lone Ranger rush for him as his line mates had gone to the bench, and now a puck in front, they score! Tavares set up by Marner. Oh my, what a great play!
The play right before the Marner pass, Joe. Matthew Nyes goes into the corner. Austin Matthews goes to the line change, and Nyes recognizes that Mitch Marner has gone to the far point inside the blue line. So Nyes rings it around the boards to Marner. Tavares comes off the bench to the front of the net and finishes it off, giving him his second goal of the night. But Matthew Nyes with a great heads-up read as to where Mitch Marner was on the ice. And he just chops it around the boards, back to the right point, and Marner with a perfect saucer pass to Tavares going to the net.
It's really not a secondary assist, is it?
No, I mean, no. This was brilliant.
It was the reason for the goal.
Yeah, now, and Nyes is the one that chipped it in and went after it. Matthews goes for the line change. And then Mitch Marner, I mean, this is knowing who you're playing with, right? Mitch Marner doesn't try to follow up with Nyes in the corner. He goes to the far side, the right point. And Nyes just throws it around the boards, and then the Marner magic does the rest.
Tavares with his second of the game, 32nd of the season. Shot goes wide of the Leaf goal. Flyers trying to play it around back of the net, tried to jam it out in front, and they did, and then they sent it wide of the net. Nylander has launched it high down into Flyer territory. Cates back after the puck stolen by the Leafs. Nylander pushing it ahead. Tavares looking for three. Has it in the goal crease, and it was knocked wide. Nylander on the far boards pushing in front of the net. Tavares couldn't get a shot away. Flyers have it go high off a stick into the crowd. And a stoppage of play. And Willie has got the Jets going. And Johnny Tavares has got the hands going here tonight.
Yeah, for Willie Nylander, it's his 40th three-point game of his career. Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Really, you think about what kind of numbers the core has put up on a regular basis.
So Mitch Marner picks up the assists as well. That gets him to 86. As Marner looks to hit the 100-point mark for the first time in his career.
64th assist on the season for Mitch Marner.
Now he came close, when was it, last year with 99?
Face off to the right in the Flyer zone. Domi leaning in. The puck goes into the corner. Domi gets it back to the point, into the slot area. Ekman-Larsson's shot is blocked, and the Flyers will punch it out into neutral ice and down on the right wing boards. A hit turns the puck over. Robertson gets it under control and gets it back, and the Leafs are organizing in their own zone. Robertson starting out with a pass to Domi. He has Lawton with him. Domi in over the line looking for Lawton. In front, goes around back of the net. Domi still with it, back to the blue line to Oliver Ekman-Larsson to the left point. A shot taken there, big rebound. Bounced off the Flyer netminder, and Philadelphia gets a Lone Ranger rush led by Pelche down into the Toronto zone. Up ahead for Robertson. Pushed in over the line for David Kemp. Kemp plays it back back. The Leafs have to be careful they didn't have too many men on there, and Calle Yarncrook was rather cautiously waiting for that puck as it comes now out at center ice, and the Leafs have it at their own blue line. Back on the right wing side for Camp. Camp sends it in for Steven Lorenz. Back of the net for Yarncrook. Yarncrook mishandles the puck but is able to free it up there for Lorenz. Lorenz against the boards with Camp assisting. Sends it around back in the net into the near corner. Fourth line just trying to keep some zone time going in the offensive end, and they've done just that. Here's Camp back in on the right side, trying to drive the net and couldn't get it from his backhand to forehand to get a shot away. He'll play it around the boards. Defenseman Brandon Carlo pinches in to keep it in. Flyers, though, have it under control in their own end and launch it high to center ice. Shot back into the Toronto end. Half the game in the books. Leafs with a 3-goal lead, 4-1. Matthews turning to Brandon Carlo. Shot down into Flyer territory. Chopped along the boards by the goalkeeper, and out at center ice it comes. Sent by Andre to the line and in. Played away from him by Chris Tanev. Chipped along the boards by Carlo. That doesn't clear. Sharp angle shot handled easily by Stolars. Leafs break it to center. Matthews across the line with Nyes. In with a shot pad save, and a good one made there by Erson. And out come the Flyers, getting it out into the center ice area. Right wing side, Konechny. Back in front of the net, knocked away by Stolars into the near corner. Back to the point, Konechny far side. Couldn't hook up there with Couturier. They'll play it around the boards. Konechny with it again. Konechny had it intercepted by Nyes. Nyes trying to push it ahead and gets in over the line on the left wing. To Marner. Back to Matthews off his skate. Matthews will chip it into the corner, but that broke down. Now Nyes steals and gets a shot away that is blockered away by Erson. Matthew Nyes is having himself a night. Flyers get it back out at center and down into the Leaf end, and an icing call will stop play.
Well, Matthew Nyes is showing that speed too, as through center ice area. Got the zone, dropped it back to Mitch Marner, and you know, you talk about Austin Matthews needs to be a little more selfish sometimes. I think that's where Mitch Marner needed to be a little selfish. He could have taken that to the net. Instead, tried to set Matthews up. Shots on goal 20-7 for the Leafs. Past the midway mark here of the second period.
Face off in the circle to the right of the Flyer netminder. Scrummed. Tavares centering pass comes into the slot. Nylander shoots, scores! 4-point night for Willie as Nylander joins the party with his second goal of the game and his fourth point.
John Tavares is going to pick up another assist as well, Joe. As the Leafs have taken control of this game, 5-1 now, and that's coming after giving up the first goal in the game to Philadelphia. Tavares got it out, and again, maybe a break that Bobby McMahon doesn't get a piece of the pass from John Tavares. It's a little out of his reach, and it goes all the way to the top of the left wing circle. And Nylander simply skates towards the net and fires it low blocker on Erson. And John Tortorella and the Flyers have called a timeout. They did this Sunday in their game against Chicago when they were down 2 in the second period. Called a timeout within 2 minutes. Flyers got it back to within 5-4, but ended up losing the game 7-4.
Third consecutive season that William Nylander has hit 40 goals. It is his career high. I'm going to bet you a brand new minted Canadian $2 bill that he gets more than 40 this year.
Just because it's been in your wallet for 50 years doesn't mean it's brand new.
Do you know it still has Queen Victoria on it?
Probably got a Henry VIII on it.
Darn it! Flyers get it to center and get across the line. Nylander pushes it out at center, and Bobby McMahon is breaking, and he's got Tavares. But Johnny had to hold up at the blue line, and what would have been a breakaway opportunity was thwarted as it rolls in on the Flyer goaltender to stop play. Break in the action, 7:38, and it's been all Maple Leafs. Nylander with a pair, Tavares with a pair, 5-1 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
After 7 years away,
It started with a choice, a friendship, and some acoustic instruments.
Mumford & Sons returned with a new album.
Rush, man.
He's still got a chance to do that, right? I haven't looked at it today. I don't know how many points he's behind, but he's going to be one to...
Hey, insiders. First and foremost, Mike and Allison want to thank you for being part of this amazing community. With March Madness in full swing, we need your help. The TSI Bracket Mania campaign is raising money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto through the Final Four. A portion of the proceeds from every single game goes directly to SickKids. Click the pinned link in the chat or the description to donate. Every bit helps. Can't donate? No problem. Just share the campaign with your friends or on social media to make a huge impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Click the link and holy Mackinac, let's help heal the future.
Can work? Yes, but it's early. Haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking bows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. And Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job. It is a retool, right? And the goaltending's been spectacular, but let's see. Don't pick out a parade route yet, boys.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
Leafs 5, Flyers 1, 7:38 to go, second period.
It's kind of odd as the Philadelphia Flyers under general manager Danny Briere try to rebuild. When he was playing for the Flyers, he had Sean Couturier live with him. Now he's a general manager, and Couturier's the captain of the Flyers. I wonder if that's going to affect contract negotiations down the road.
This is the not makeup game, but the extra game the Leafs have over Florida.
And Tampa, by the way, up on Pittsburgh 4-0.
And the Leafs lead Tampa by 2 points, but trail Florida by 2 points, but have played one fewer game. So this is it. The Leafs could move into a tie with the Florida Panthers with a victory here this evening. And against the boards down in the Toronto zone, Brandon Carlos behind the back pass. Didn't work. Domi able to secure it to Robertson, and he's going to flip it out at center ice. Zamula goes back. Leafs are changing on the go. Near boards for Tippett. Played in over the line, and the Flyers trying to get it back into the slot. Long shot blockered away nicely by Stolars, who has not had to really make a difficult save in this game to this point. Robertson carries to center. The rest of his mates have gone to the bench, so he bounces one in on the Flyer goal. Cleared aside, and the Flyers get it out at center. Left wing side. Pelche into the slot area, unable to get a shot. Couturier played down in around back of the net. Philadelphia trying to get to it, but Pelche was unable to find it. Couturier trying to help out along the boards. Matthews chopping at it. Right now, it's a battle in there that Benoit's been winning. Pass in front of the net, broken up, and the Leafs get it off the boards and out at center ice. And Benoit is into the rush. He bursts out with a nice pass from Marner. Now he has a centering pass, and that was blocked. And now Matthews trying to get it back to the blue line. Got it to Marner. Marner sends it back in back of the Flyer goal. Puck in the near corner. Matthews rolled it in front. Flyers are able to secure it. Mitchkov couldn't move up ice, so he plays it back to Travis Sandheim, who retreats behind the Flyer net. 5:14 to play in the second. Leafs 5, Flyers 1. Flyers dropping it back. Konechny got it ahead to the line and in for Brink. He had it taken away. Here's Camp racing down the right side on a partial breakaway. It's gone! David Camp breaks down the right wing. A little inside-outside move and slid it between the legs and the 5-hole for a 6-1 Toronto lead.
Right now, it's just at the point where there's absolutely no pushback by the Philadelphia Flyers. They got caught on a sloppy change after turning the puck over right at the Leaf blue line, and David Camp took off. Camp hasn't scored since the first game back against Carolina after the Four Nations tournament, and he showed some pretty silky mitts there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Little backhand, forehand, and tucks it 5-hole, and now the Flyers goaltenders have given up 6 on 23 shots.
5th of the season. As it's played down into the Flyer end, and there's going to be an icing call.
Yeah, Fedotov played both of the 3-2 games, the back-to-back games against the Leafs earlier. And those, I mean, this is the third goaltender that the Flyers have seen this year. Dennis Hildeby actually picked up the win at home in overtime. 3-2. Joseph Wall won 3-2 in Philadelphia.
So Fedotov is into the game, and not much has changed. Flyers win the faceoff, try to work it back of the net. It comes back to the point. Wrist shot, blockered away there by Stolars. Yarncrook getting an assist, and Steven Lorenz the other. So the line combines, and a shot blocked in front by Carlo. Played around back of the net. Brandon Carlo knocks his man down. The puck is back of the goal. Poked up on the wing. David Camp is without a stick, and the puck is maintained by Philadelphia. Back to the point it comes. Still with it, trying to play it into the slot area. It goes off his stick and not high enough to clear into the crowd. So the Flyers still on a 5-on-4, and a one-timer is kicked away there by Stolars. Flyers get it again. Point now for Sandheim, and a shot blocked by Camp, who was without a stick. Puck down into the near corner. Back to the point, and it's going to come out at center ice, and David Camp is scampering for the bench to get a change. Played in over the line on the right wing side for Cates. His shot was easily stopped by Stolars, who got tangled up there by the Flyer forward, and now played by the Leafs out at center ice off a Flyer stick into Philadelphia territory. Plenty of debris down in the Leaf end. Nylander had a bouncing puck that he couldn't control. Flyers get to the line, and it's going to be offside. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remain in the period, and the Leafs have blown this one wide open in the second period with 4 unanswered goals. David Camp, the latest. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CRV Sport here in Allison, Ontario. And with all-wheel drive, plus a suite of Honda...
What's up, insiders? Man, we are blowing them out tonight, aren't we? Let's enjoy every second of this, Leafs fans, because this doesn't happen every day. So we've got to enjoy it. 6-1 Maple Leafs, 3 minutes to go in the second period. The donation is in for the Football Frenzy campaign. And that's what I love about this. When we do the next tournament, which will be the playoffs, we'll be making the Bracket Mania donation in that campaign. So you're helping by sharing out that link when we go live for these other basketball games and football games like we did in January and early February, over $2,500 raised for SickKids Hospital just because you were here. Thank you, everybody. Go Leafs, go. We'll pull it up on the, we'll talk a little bit more about it during the second period, or we won't because we're just going to enjoy a big win. Let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go. Thank you all for being here. Cheers, Insiders, for helping me make this amazing community what it is today. I got to go buy a new cup off of the new website. See you back in the chat.
Wing for Nylander. Carried back into the corner. Fed up on the wing. Tavares couldn't get it out. Backhanded high and wide of the Leaf goal. It goes into the far corner. Tanev in there banging with his man. McCabe comes out with the loose puck, send it back. Nylander tried to stick handle his way back of the net, but there's quite a crowd there. Finally, it's batted by Nylander's glove, but not out. Flyers maintain possession in the far corner. Tavares unable to get to it. Konechny around back of the net. Banged into again there by Tanev. Puck along the boards, and the Leafs unable to get free of it. Finally, Tavares stick handles his way to center. He'll send a long bounce into the near corner. Some of the change starting, and the Flyers will play it out into the center ice area.
It's the Calgary game 6-2. Remember the Flames scored with a minute and a half left?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. No, but I remember we were talking about it being
the biggest.
Yes.
So. It was, and it tied, I think, a big win against Los Angeles and a 4-0 win over Boston.
Shot down into the Toronto zone. But you're right, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Back to the blue line, and a shot coming. Scores! See what you did?
You were the one that brought it up. Sean Couturier on a tip on a point shot makes it 6-2. And boy, you're right. The save percentages are taking a hit tonight. 34 shots, 8 goals.
Pretty good deflection
between these two teams. Couturier comes in, leading or actually fourth in the Flyers in scoring. Travis Konechny is first. This was about a foot off the ice, wasn't it, Joe?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think this was, maybe a couple of feet off the ice, and this was just one of those fly-by deflections. Perfect timing, perfect redirection.
Redirected it down and underneath the blocker of Stolarz.
Remember, it used to be there were so few players that could do that. Dino Ciccarelli, there were guys that were good at it. Now it seems everybody's got that hand-eye coordination.
Alley-oop pass for Nyes. Broken up there by the Flyers. Tippett played it back in along the boards. Nyes trying to get to it. Does. Nyes back to Marner. Marner walks back towards the point. Dishes it off on the left wing side. Pass in front of the goal. Oh, and Nyes could have tapped that if he got a stick on it. It was an empty net. Back to the point it comes now for Brandon Carlo. Shot it wide of the net, but Matthews trying to get it in front of the net fails. And it'll be Helche getting it out into the center ice area, and the Flyers get it down into the Toronto end. Back of the net. Benoit lays it off the boards through center. Nyes couldn't help out. Leafs get it back again. Carlo up ahead. Right wing side for Yarncrook. Yarncrook down into the corner for Camp, and Lorenz around on the far boards. It'll be knifed out at center ice by Philadelphia, and the Leafs have to go back. Camp freed it up. Tanev has it in the near wing. Ran out of real estate trying to play it up the boards, and is able to outfight his man to get it ahead. And the Leafs get it out with 16 seconds left, shooting it down into Flyer territory. Puck in the corner. Leafs keep it in. Nylander floating around in front of the net. Centering pass went off his helmet, I think. Bounced in behind the net. And there's the horn that ends the period. So the Flyers get one back, but not before the Leafs score 6 straight goals, erasing a 1-0 Philadelphia lead. And it is 6-2 after 40 minutes of play.
It's really been all about the Leafs finishing, right? We haven't seen long stretches of offensive zone time. It's just that they've been able to take advantage of some breakdowns by the Flyers in their own end, including the bad change that led to the David Kampf power play goal. By the way, Anthony Stolarz, his last 2 wins have both come in New York against the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. Has not won at home since the last game David Kampf scored. That was against Carolina right after the break.
Tampa Bay leading the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-0 down in Florida. Game to keep an eye on, but it appears to be somewhat over as well.
Florida Tampa lost back-to-back games on the weekend in Utah and in Las Vegas Saturday, Sunday. So they're too good, it
sense
seems.
of urgency would have set in there,
absolutely.
I'm sure, from John Cooper. Anyway, the Leafs with a big lead. We'll step aside. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming your way. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Opening day is this week, and the time is now to get your fantasy baseball draft advice on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I want to thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
From winning strategies, expert drafts, player projections, and more, you need our advice now more than ever.
When in doubt. All right, there we go, insiders. Maybe jumped the gun a little bit. A little bit too early there celebrating, but you know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to just ride this thing out, and we're going to go get the win tonight, right? Jonathan Scott. Is it Jonathan Scott's birthday? I missed the chat here because I've been messing with the Blue Jay stuff, getting ready for Thursday. Cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. The Blue Jays, hopefully this year the Blue Jays can do something. Kind of like our Leafs are tonight. And so far this season, being in the playoff run would be all I would ask for from a Blue Jays perspective in August, September. If we can be in the hunt, I will be a happy man. Here we go. We got Johan Yotun in the house. Cheers, Johan. Good to see you, Johan. There's Brian Burns as well. Miss Gail. There's Miller Time. Miss V. Carmen, Rick, Brad. Oh yeah, we got all the insiders here in the house hanging out with us tonight when the Leafs are tearing it up. All right, so yeah, check that link that is pinned in the chat or that is in the description for our SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign. As you have seen on the chat and on the channel, we were live 53 times in 4 days. 53 live streams in 4 days. I am still exhausted from that. With literally when these games ended, getting into it and starting to make new thumbnails and all the stuff that goes in to the YouTube side of things. And a big, huge shout out to my amazing wife, TSI Allison, for her help with all of this stuff. Amazing. So go Leafs, go. Let's go hard in this third period. Let's score like 4 more. Let's get 10. Let's put up a 10 spot tonight, Leafs fans. What do you think? And go check out that Bracket Mania link as well. And please, all I'm asking is please just help share out the live streams on the channel Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. When you see the college basketball lives come along your screen and your notifications, stop by, hit that like button, chat it up, say hi. And we appreciate the help in making that donation even bigger to SickKids Hospital every single month as we go. We are now at, I believe, I'll have to double check the totals, but we are right around $10,000 raised as a community for SickKids Hospital in just about 11 months. An amazing, amazing accomplishment, and I am so thankful to each and every one of you here in the chat. Oh, there's Sean V. Was he being annoying? Sean, you know what? Try again tomorrow, buddy. Is that why you have so many new gray hairs, Mike? Yes, Bird. That is why my beard, well, actually, it's because I shaved and trimmed my beard for like the first time in about 2 weeks. And it's gray. The gray hairs, I mean, come on, I'm a Leafs fan. I'm a Toronto sports fan. Of course my hair's going gray. All right, let's get back to the hockey. Enough about talking about my gray hair. We'll see you guys back in the chat.
Leafs are hemmed in their own end.
Hell, or lack of hair. No hair.
Ranger rush for him as his line mates have gone to the bench, and now puck in front, they score! Tavares set up by Marner! Oh my, what a great play!
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert. A 6-2 lead for the Maple Leafs after 40 minutes. That was an explosive second period, specifically for the line of Johnny T, William Nylander, and co. Getting a lot on the board for the Maple Leafs. What we thought on the second period?
It's pretty good when you can score. I guess it wasn't exclusively in the second period. 6 straight goals like the Maple Leafs did in this game. It does kind of lend itself to a wacky game state, though, because you're in control. It's up 6-1. Then you give up kind of a goal that doesn't have to happen. And Stolarz, there's a lot to play for if you're Anthony Stolarz. I don't know how this third period's going to look like because the Flyers kind of packed it in, it felt like. And when one team packs in, the other kind of raises it or lowers its level just like naturally. So, a 6-2 game after 40 minutes is probably going to result in a bit of a weird third period, but hopefully the Leafs can play some decent defense in front of Stolarz for his sake. But yeah, good night for round numbers, especially for the second line. Bobby McMahon hits 20 goals. William Nylander hits 40 goals. John Tavares, well, it's round enough. 32 goals on the year with his second of the night. He did get that second one with Marner and Matthew Nyes at a bit of a change there. But yeah, William Nylander hitting 40 goals. Like I remember, I'm not old enough. I am old enough to remember where 30 goals was a stretch for most guys. And now guys like William Nylander can hit 40 with relative ease, but it's still a nice number, a nice milestone to hit. William Nylander continues to be ultra productive, and you can say the same about his line mates tonight. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, 4 points for Willie, 3 points for John Tavares. Like this is exactly what you're looking for. Like a quiet game. I mean, Austin Matthews got an assist, but the last couple games that we've done, it has been mostly focused on the second line, like in terms of point production. I don't know if it's just us jinxing it, but might be us.
It hasn't been a big Austin Matthews or Mitch Marner stretch when we've been on the air for the last couple games. And so, I mean, that's positive in the sense of like Willie and John just being able to do what they do. And I'm really impressed with his production. We talk about it all the time. John Tavares is so consistent, and he does it day in, day out. Again tonight with a 3-point night. So I guess the second line seems to be clicking, but it's a glaring, I don't want to make this just all about Scott Laughton, but it's a pretty glaring thing when you go down the stat sheet. There's most of the team offensively has a point. I think the only people without a point on the offensive side is Max Domi, Scott Laughton, and Nick Robertson.
Yeah, the only line that hasn't contributed.
Which line is that?
Yeah, they're the only line that is a negative in the goals for department tonight. Every other player would be a positive, or even aside from that third line. I'll give them credit, though. Like, they're not getting caved in. I mean, who is getting caved in by this Flyers team? I think the Flyers had 5 shots at the midway mark of the game. They added a few in the second or the latter half of that period. But, yeah, even the third line was in on the act, at least in terms of tilting the ice. But you're right. Not much positive to say of that third line. Scott Laughton did lead the team in hits after 40 minutes.
He's trying to do something.
Lead the team in hits after 40 minutes, but still, like, it just feels like it's a bit lifeless. Even just looking at him looks kind of lifeless. And I'd like to see a little life in Laughton and that third line. I mean, it's these guys are playing for roles on the playoff roster, right? Like Max Domi's included in that. Max Domi's been good the last month or so for the most part. And Robertson has shown some flashes in the last month and over parts of the season as well. But like, yeah, you're playing for key roles, for ice time, to stay together, to actually play a focal role on this team when it matters the most. And you just like to see something. And we're not seeing it through 40 minutes tonight.
When every single other Maple Leaf offensively has had a point, it's a glaring thing.
It's cookie night.
It is literally cookie
there's
night.
no pushback from the Flyers. They did score a goal there, but that was just like happenstance rather than, wow, that's the culmination of many good shifts in a row for the Flyers. That's not what it is. So you'd like to see something, especially when on a night where it's coming a little easier than it should.
Yeah, 6-2 after 40 minutes. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to that out-of-town scoreboard. A lot of big games across the NHL tonight, and we'll get you set for the third period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey everyone, Adney and Verk here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CR-V Sport here in Alliston, Ontario. And with all-wheel drive, plus a suite of Honda sensing technologies, we made sure it can handle Ontario winters. But you're probably wondering, what's with the one-touch power moonroof? Well, Ontario, we hold on to the hope that one day winter will be over. Get ready for spring and adventure with the Honda CR-V Sport. Lease with rates from 1.99% for 36 months, plus get a $1,500 Honda bonus. OAC conditions apply. Made with domestic and imported parts. See HondaOntario.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in stock, ready to deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter.
Hey, what's up, insiders? All right, I got to get this SickKids donation page below my camera here, but I'm working on it, and now it's not working. What the heck? Where'd it go? There it is. All right, they're coming back for the third period, or more intermission here. But I just wanted to bring up the donation page. This is all of the campaigns here on Toronto Sports Insider since we donated 100% to SickKids Hospital in the playoffs last year for every single Leafs game. Let's get back to the intermission. You guys see the totals there. I've got to do some math. Looks like we're pretty close, but we might be just short of the $10,000 raised in a year. So we got to do a little bit more work, I think. Got to add it up one more time. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you back after for the post-game win. Of course, we let the post-game run as always. Hopefully we'll be talking about a nice Leafs win. Cheers, everybody.
Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway with a combined 4 points. So sorry to bring that up for Oilers fans. 1-1 Capitals and Jets. End of one. That's a big, big game in a battle for the President's Trophy. Golden Knights have a 1-0 lead after one over the Minnesota Wild. And still to come tonight, the Red Wings are in Colorado to take on the Avalanche. The Flames will host the Kraken, another big game with Western Conference playoff implications. Not for the Kraken, but for the Flames. And then later on tonight, Kings will host the Rangers at 10:30 as the nightcap.
Our great producer, Armin, sent us a little tidbit. So ranking in NHL goals since 2016-17, Austin Matthews, first in the NHL. John Tavares, 10th in the NHL. William Nylander, 22nd. Mitch Marner, 40th. David Camp, 418th. Why did you throw that in there? Poor guy.
Well, he got the nicest of all the goals tonight.
That's right. But, you know, first, 10th, 22nd, 40th, 418th.
Yeah. I guess that's since Matthews came in 2016. Matthews pacing the league, but Tavares maybe far behind in terms of the actual amount of goals. But 10th is pretty darn good.
It is pretty darn good.
For the former captain.
It is. And a pretty good night for both Nylander and Tavares so far. 20 minutes left to play. It's a 6-2 lead for the Maple Leafs after 40 minutes. We'll take a quick break. We'll get you set for the third period with Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Get closer to the artists you love on the SiriusXM app. From 24/7 channels dedicated to icons like the Beatles, Bruce Springsteen, and the Grateful Dead, to ones hosted by stars like John Mayer, Carrie Underwood, and Kelly Clarkson. Explore the songs, stories, and inside access to artists you won't find anywhere else. Plus, exclusive shows, interviews, full concerts, and more. Just search Artist Channels in the SiriusXM app.
The countdown to history is on. Alexander Ovechkin, one of the greatest to ever play the game, is chasing hockey immortality. Every goal brings him closer to legend status. And SiriusXM is your front row seat to the action.
Alex Ovechkin!
Live every game, plus catch exclusive interviews with those who know him best. Former teammates, coaches, and legends of the game on the SiriusXM app.
Brad Ovechkin scores!
The Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think any time that you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us.
He's still got a chance to do that, right? I haven't looked at it today. I don't know how many points he's behind, but he's going to be one to.
Hey, insiders. First and foremost, Mike and Allison want to thank you for being part of this amazing community. With March Madness in full swing, we need your help. The TSI Bracket Mania campaign is raising money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto through the Final Four. A portion of the proceeds from every single game goes directly to SickKids. Click the pinned link in the chat or the description to donate. Every bit helps. Can't donate? No problem. Just share the campaign with your friends or on social media to make a huge impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Click the link and holy Mackinac, let's help heal the future.
Peering into the third period, a 6-2 advantage over the Philadelphia Flyers. Willie Nylander and John Tavares have each scored a pair of goals. Bobby McMahon and David Camp has the other. And Couturier and Paling have scored for Philadelphia. And at a 6-2 game, you'd think probably the shots are maybe 53 to 41 or something. And instead, it's 23 to 11.
And we did talk about the Flyers and the save percentage. But anyway, it looks like there has been a goaltending. That's still Ayrton, still 33 in there. Yep, okay. So no goalie change for the Flyers. And when you talk about trying to build through the draft, and Danny Briere is trying to do that this year. Flyers have 3 first-round picks and 4 second-round picks coming up this season. But since coming to the league, Joe, in 67, they've only had 3 top 3 picks in the NHL draft. One of them played for the Leafs. Very first one they had was Mel Bridgman in 1975.
Eric Lindros? No, he got the trade, right?
Yeah.
That was the big trade.
Yep. Nolan Patrick was second overall in 2017. James Van Riemsdyk in 2007 was second overall.
So Harrison still in goal. Leafs with the puck in the offensive zone. Back to the point it comes to Riley. Riley purposely sends it wide. Domi around the boards to the far wing. Got it back to the point. Swept back of the net. It'll come into the near corner for Robertson. Trying to get it back to Domi, but it's launched out at center ice. And Tyson Forster gets it down into the Toronto end. Brandon Carlo reaching around him to free the puck up. And it's back of the net for Morgan Riley. He'll pound it out at center, and now Domi works in over the line with Scott Laughton. Domi looking for Laughton, and the pass went right by him and just missed him. Played back around the boards to the far side, and the Leafs are going to get a change in as it's back down into Philadelphia territory. Played out at center ice, and now stolen back. Philadelphia 2-on-1 break here with a pass in front of the net. Big play made by Tanev to block that pass on the 2-on-1 as it comes to Couturier. Shot stopped. Wall down is Stolarz. The puck is jammed at. They're still fighting for it, and mercifully it is whistled down Anthony Stolarz could not move to get a hand back there to cover up on it because he had his pad pushed up against the post. But the digging and hacking and whacking was going on there by everybody.
Yeah, did that go off Chris Tanev? Original shot from the right point. Seemed to be going wide. Went off Tanev, then off the right pad of Anthony Stolarz. And then Stolarz, I really think, thought he had it. But the puck had gone under him, under his right arm, and was just sitting above his right pad.
And one of the pieces of equipment to block shots with Stolarz had come free, so he was having a difficult time trying to skate because it was kind of stepping on it and everything else. And he just shaking his head at the bench.
And that's one thing, obviously, the Leafs, and especially Craig Berube wants to stay away from, is having a sloppy third period. You don't want this to end up to be like an 8-5 game.
Play to the line, but not in. Brought on by Couturier, and he couldn't penetrate the Leaf defense. Shot into the Toronto zone. What an enormous addition Christopher Tanev has been to this hockey team. Tavares got the puck freed for Benoit. Benoit up ahead, deflected in by Bobby McMahon. Leafs are going to change. 2 minutes played in the third period. Banked out into the center ice area. Flipped in by Couturier. It comes back to the point, but it's going to escape the zone, and the Flyers have to regroup at their own blue line. They'll play it in on the right side. Tippett trying to go wide on the defense, gets to the near boards, trying to play it back to the point. That was broken up, but kept in at the blue line. Pass into the slot area. Good play by David Camp to knock it away there from Paling. The puck around back of the net. A centering pass is deflected out into the center ice area. The Flyers have carried the play here. The Leafs have defended well, but there's been very little zone time in the offensive end of the rink for the Maple Leafs. Off the open door, and the Leafs are able to get it back in over the line. Robertson looking for Domi in the slot. And it was intercepted, and the Flyers will play it off the glass down into the Toronto end. Swept around back of the net for Tanev. Out to Domi, to Lawton. He failed to get it out. Back in along the boards. Lawton battles his man. The puck comes into the slot area. Lexel couldn't get a shot. It comes back to the point. Sandheim will play it down into the corner and around on the far side. Domi chases after Lexel in the corners. It comes back to the point. Near side now for Delorier. Delorier spins it around the boards. Tanev intercepts. Chips it along the wall for Domi. Domi trying to play it back to his defenseman. Now it's up against the boards in the near wall. The battle continues as it's played back for McCabe, and back of the net finally, and it will be launched high into neutral ice by the Leafs to relieve the pressure. They've defended well. Now here's Robertson stealing. Robertson in with a shot. That's blocked. The rebound went to Matthews, and off a stick. It goes up into the screen. The first offensive flurry by the Maple Leafs comes 3 minutes and 52 seconds into the period.
They got to go back to doing what they were doing in the first two periods, and I know you've brought up the point of being selfish, and that's what they were. You look at the Nylander goals, Tavares. I mean, you get it in the shooting area, you shoot, and we did see Max Domi tried to set up Scott Lawton. You saw Nicholas Robertson has the puck going to the net from the high slot, decides to pass it off.
Leafs win the face-off. OEL plays it around the boards. Oliver Ekman-Larsson looking for a point to reach the 500 mark in his career as the Flyers have pushed it down to the Toronto zone. Benoit round back of the net up to Marner, out for Nyes, chipped ahead for Matthews. Matthews will just slide it into Flyer territory. Nyes into the forecheck. Matthews helps out. Marner trying to steal it as well, but the Flyers have pushed it out at center ice, and Noah Cates sends it off on the left wing, but too far for Bobby Brink, and it'll come around the boards, and Nyes has it on the near wing. Nyes, a pass across the line. Almost stolen by Matthews to Marner. Marner in all with a move, but his legs. And that was thwarted. The goaltender out of the net. They score! Morgan Riley shoots it into the empty net after the collision that had Ersson on his behind, in behind the net.
This might be looked at for offside too, Joe. The Leafs crossed the line. It was very close. I mean, what follows is the move by Marner, who after he tries to go between his own legs and around the goaltender, gets pushed into the Philadelphia netminder Ersson, who ends up on his backside behind his own net when it was thrown out, and Morgan Riley scores. So I don't think it's going to be goalie interference that they'd look at. I think it might be more offside.
All right. Well, we'll wait and see.
But it definitely looks like the Flyers are taking extra time to look at it.
It was. Now we're going to get the announcement.
Philadelphia challenged to see if there was goaltender interference prior to the goal. All
right, so that's goalie interference.
I'm with you. I don't think it was.
But I think if you go back and you look at the entry by the Leafs, remember the pass was sort of partially blocked.
Well, Marner got drilled into the goaltender.
Marner
and then when the goal was scored, Marner kind of stood up and looked at him and put his hands up in the air and just said, hey, what was I supposed to do, right?
Yeah, so goal interference is the call. We haven't seen a replay on the entry. But, I mean, it's at the top of the crease.
Now, what's going to have to be decided here, Jimmy,
was he pushed?
After he makes the move between the legs, which would have been brilliant, he is moving towards the goaltender. Did he make contact with him first and then the push from the defenseman who was
but did the goaltender come out and initiate the contact? There's the other thing.
Well, it didn't take long.
After review, there was goaltender interference. Therefore, we have no goal.
It's been that kind of year for Morgan Riley, too, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 50-50 on... They kind of both go to the same spot at the same time, but Morgan Riley had his back to the goaltender. Pardon me, Marner had his back to the goaltender, then was sort of pushed as he was spinning around.
Mitch is trying to get an explanation from the official as to why, but
Marner doesn't seem to be buying it. Like we said, Marner still has the race to 100 points as well.
Leafs get it down into the Flyer end. Puck back of the goal. Tavares unable to pry it free, and the Flyers break out into neutral ice. It'll be flipped into the near corner. McCabe is first back. Plays it up on the boards for Nylander. Nylander lost it. Flyers now with a little give and go. Down low and a backhand try. And it was knocked wide of the net. Played up on the boards but not out. Nylander finally comes up with it and flips it ahead. And now gets a return pass from Tavares. Nylander in on the right side with a shot. That was stopped. The rebound went back of the net. Nylander has it there. Tried to roll it out in front. Intercepted by Couturier. And the Flyers will get it up on the right wing. And now Konechny will skate it out in center. Travis Konechny in over the line. His pass is eaten up there by David Camp. Camp turns back up ice. I like the makeup of this fourth line. They are going to be penalty killers. They're going to be energy, but very responsible defensively, and they've chipped in with a goal here in this hockey game. Shot back into the corner. Grabbed off there by David Camp. Laid into the open area on the far side. Yarncook hustles in there after it as it comes to the point. Long shot went wide of the goal. Rebound on the near side. And the puck is pushed out into the center ice area and down into the Leaf end. Icing would have been called, but Stolars came out to play it. Now he banks it out at center ice. Brought on now by Lorenz. Left wing side for Domi. Domi down into the corner. Got it around back of the net. and the wave is making its way around Scotiabank Arena. Played into the far corner. Robertson trying to chip it free, and the Flyers will get it out into neutral ice. Jake McCabe drops it off for Lawton. Lawton got it in for Domi. Domi back to the point, a shot, and a whistling drive went high off the glass, back of the net. Played into an open corner. Flyers get there and get it out at center, and it's brought in over the line by Owen Tippett. Tippett goes wide, took a sharp angle try that was stopped by the blocker of Stolarz. Tippett with it again, got it back to the point, D to D on the far side. Shot blocked there by Matthews and just played out at center ice. Leafs completing the change. Oliver Ekman-Larsson couldn't control the puck, brought into the Leaf zone. Stopping up with it is Sandheim. Back to the blue line to Tippett. Back to the point, Pelche, near side, one-timer, stopped and blocked by Matthews, but the stick gave up its life for the block shot. Long lead pass, and then quickly down into the zone is Marner. Nyes arrives on the scene with a hit. The puck comes out at center ice. Tavares taking the spot of Matthews, turns back up ice now at the red line. Spinning move to gain the zone. Drops it off for Marner, back to Tavares, into the slot to Marner, near side, and a one-timer and a weak one by Carlo as he had to kind of reach back to get that shot away. Nylander to the line, couldn't bring it in. Leafs have to tag up, and they will control the puck as it goes into the bench and out of play on the far side. With 11:37 to play in what has been a scoreless third period, the Leafs 6, the Flyers 2. You're listening to Molten Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Opening day is this week, and the time is now to get your
What's up, hockey fans? Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Now is the time of the show for you to let us know where you are watching from in the chat. Speaking of which, where's Tom? Tom!
I'm right here, Dad.
Oh, good.
And I also wonder where you are from, just like my father.
So let us know in the chat what city and province in Canada, city and state in the United States, or all over the world, where you're watching from. And thank you for hanging out with us and participating in the chat. Now let's get back to the hockey.
We'll see you in the chat.
Go Leafs, go!
Great Chase is on NHL Network Radio.
The Power Play with Steve Kouleas.
General manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Kevin Cheveldayoff. What would finishing first overall mean to the organization, Kevin?
Well, I think anytime that you can finish in an area where you're getting recognized, it's special. But again, the important thing for us is process. Is when we buy into playing the way we need to play, then we feel comfortable that we'll win more games than not, and then you let the chips fall where they may.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM Radio Network.
11:37 left here in the period.
So it's great to see the other team's broadcaster. Brian Boucher has done a great job in the States doing color in his first year coming back to Philadelphia as a full-time color man, replacing Keith Jones. So we got to chirp at each other a little bit in the Philadelphia booth, and I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "What's your longest shutout streak?" To which he replied, 332 minutes and 1 second, which is the reason I asked it, because Brian Boucher, that's the modern day NHL record while playing for Arizona. I believe that was 5 straight shutouts or 4 straight shutouts.
So there's a good reason why he knew exactly.
Of course, as soon as he gave the rapid-fire answer, we kind of giggled about it.
Yeah. Well, did he at least thank you for throwing the volleyball up? Flyers get it down into the Leaf zone. Shot deflects into the corner. Tavares is able to come away with it. Now that's a pretty healthy streak, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tavares gets it into the zone, into the slot for Nylander. Nylander back for Tavares alone. Oh, and he played it back across, looking for McMahon. And he had Erson completely out of the picture. If anyone was able to get a stick on it. Chip back down into Flyer territory. Goaltender gets it into the corner, and the Flyers get it up on the wing. And up on the right side, it'll be played to center, to the blue line and in. Quickly played out and down the ice by the Maple Leafs, but no icing. Went right by a Flyer who was heading for the bench, and that's why it got waved off. Now Owen Tippett brings it back in, and a drop pass and a shot taken there by Paling, went off his skate and went harmlessly wide. Into the slot area, Paling can't shoot it. Along the boards for Tippett. Tippett has it stripped away. Leafs get it out into neutral ice, and Yarncrook is too well covered to get away, and it'll be brought by Drysdale and played back into Toronto territory. Morgan Riley knocks it away from him. David Camp muscles it out at center. It hits the official. Camp is able to get it a little bit further. Leafs will start a change as the Flyers bring it back in with Forrester shooting. That's knocked away by goaltender Stolars. Where's the puck? He thought it might have been up on the roof of the net there for a moment. And the puck comes back into the slot. A shot here goes exploding off the glass. Brandon Carlo getting some help from Matthews in the far corner. Now Marner gets it freed up. Morgan Riley, who got robbed of a goal because of video review, sends it down into the Flyer zone. Stolen by Nyes. Tried to get it into the corner for Marner, who spun it out in front, but out of the reach of Matthews. 9 minutes left to play, third period. It has been a non-eventful third period, just what Coach Craig Berube was probably looking for. Matthews in his own zone. Fakes a pass, finds Chris Tanev. Tanev escapes back of the goal. Bank pass through center, out of the reach of Marner. Flyers have it at their own blue line. Quickly ahead and brought in over the line now by Delorier. He had it stolen away and knocked out at center. Domi racing after it. Domi in with a shot. He scores! Domi jumped behind the Flyer defense and carries it the rest of the way. And now everybody's getting into the act here as all three lines have had a piece of the pie.
John Tortorella is not going to be thrilled with this, as first man back for Philadelphia simply gets out-muscled by Max Domi. And is that Emil Andre that was coming back, and instead of just trying to chip it out of harm's way, tried to get body position on Domi, but instead got shouldered off the puck. And Domi walked right in and slips it. Another one that goes through the pads of Samuel Ersson and gives the Leafs their 5-goal cushion back.
7th of the year for Domi. And the Maple Leafs have opened up a 5-goal lead.
Domi's been pointless in the previous 3. But before that, pretty good numbers in the previous 4.
Konechny works in on the right side. Too well covered there by Benoit. And the Leafs will get it out into the center ice area.
Assisted by number 22, McCabe. Time of the goal, 11:32.
McCabe gets the lone assist. He's the one that sent the puck out of the Leafs zone. Max Domi just out-muscled Andre for the puck. Flyers down in the offensive end. Can't get it past one. Pass comes to the near wing, though. Chip back to the blue line. And then unable to get it out was Yarncrook. The Flyers get it into the slot. Good back checking there by Lorenz, and he comes to center ice with a pass from Camp. In with a backhand, stopped on the short side. Played around the boards to the far wing. And the Flyers will knife it on the backhand and get it down into the Toronto zone. Domi from McCabe, the scoring play. So all three lines have had a hand in this one. or all four lines, excuse me. Errant pass, icing call against Philadelphia with 6:49 to play in the third period.
Well, a couple of things. John Tavares now with the 32 goals of the season. This is thanks to Chris Johnson. Now is the most goals of any pending unrestricted free agent at the end of this season. So I thank Starman for that, and also with Willie Nylander with the 40-goal season. Becomes the fourth Leaf of 3 consecutive 40-goal seasons.
Shot by Tavares went whistling over top of the net. He banks it back to OEL, back around back of the goal. It goes in the Flyer zone. Nylander couldn't get to it, but Benoit has pinched. He'll keep it into the corner. Tavares can't come up with it, and the Flyers play it right in front of their own net in order to get it out at center ice.
Now, can you name the other 3 players that have had consecutive 40-goal seasons for the Leafs? At least 3? I think
Rick
you
Vaive.
would have. What's that?
Rick Vaive.
It's one?
Dave Andrechuk had 2.
No. Yeah, it wasn't Dave Andrechuk. He had the back-to-back 50s.
Yes.
But he didn't score all 50 with the Leafs the one year.
No.
Did he?
No, he didn't. That came in the trade with Buffalo. I don't think Matt's had that many. What about...
No, not Matt's.
Phil Kessel?
No, Phil was always in the 30s.
30s,
right?
yeah. Up on the
one in the 70s. And there's another obvious one that's playing
Lanny
tonight.
McDonald?
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
And another one that's playing tonight.
Oh, is he really good and our captain?
Yes.
Oh, I remember him.
This is amazing.
You know, he scored
You're going
that many
back.
in 3 straight
You're
years.
going back and you're saying, boy, how many did Jim McKinney have? And you forget. I'm
pretty sure Howie could have told you.
Yeah.
7-2 in favor of the Leafs. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
At Honda, we take pride in building the CRV Sport here in Allison, Ontario. And with all-wheel drive, plus a suite of Honda sensing technologies, we made sure it can handle Ontario winters. But you're probably wondering, what's with the one-touch power moonroof? Well, Ontario, we hold on to the hope that one day winter will be over. Get ready for spring and adventure with the Honda CRV Sport. Lease with rates from 1.99% for 36 months, plus get a $1,500 Honda bonus. OAC conditions apply. Made with domestic and imported parts. See HondaOntario.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Holy mackerel, what a move!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs 7 and the Flyers 2. They have scored a goal, at least a goal in each of the third periods. They led 2-1 after the first, 6-2 after the second. Domi has added a tally here as the puck goes down into the corner and Lawton ties his man up and now tries to dig the puck free. Domi has it in the corner. Centers and it went right through the blue paint back to the blue line to Benoit. Far side now, sent in by OEL into the corner for Domi. Domi along the boards and grabbed off by Robertson. Robertson to Domi, Lawton to the front of the net. Benoit trying to get it to him, and it was deflected into the corner. Round back of the net, Owen Tippett. And Tippett with a long lead pass gets to center and across the line. Broken up by Benoit, who takes his man forcibly into the boards, and the Leafs have played it out and down the ice. Will it be enough for icing? Yes. So it'll come all the way back into the Toronto zone with 4:43 left to play in the third period.
And the mess atop the Atlantic Division will continue. Leafs will pull even with the Florida Panthers. And the Tampa Bay Lightning will stay 2 points back.
And 2 games left with Florida on the docket.
And just one with Tampa?
Yep.
Is that it? Florida's not played here yet this year, have they?
Yes, they have. They were just here.
Oh, yeah. 3-2 game, right. Again, I remember the Leafs in Florida earlier in the year.
Domi gets the puck out and down the ice, but it's probably going to be another icing. And it will be.
And yet, the thing about a possible matchup against Tampa again in the playoffs, the Leafs have been good against Tampa in the regular season since their last meeting in the postseason.
Well, one little bit of good news is the Boston Bruins don't appear to be on the horizon this time around. So the little shop of horrors is not going to play into this one way or the other.
No, but there are a lot of shops open in the playoffs.
There are other horrors, but that building just has been a curse to the Maple Leafs. So we'll wait and see how it all plays out. And it's coming up here, lickety-split. Flyers into the attack in the Leaf zone. Got it back to the left. Point a shot, and that didn't make it through as Riley blocked that. Chases into the corner with Delorier. Blocked there by David Camp. Camp trying to get it back to the net for Carlo, and does. Brandon Carlo now will pound it off the glass. Blocked at the blue line and just maintained in a shot. Stolarz with maybe his best save of the game. Right there. On a turnover at the blue line with 3:36 to play here in the third period. We'll step aside. The Leafs out shooting Philadelphia 30-17 and outscoring them 7-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, Daddy Gang, this is Alex Cooper. The SiriusXM app is your home for all things Unwell. All new exclusive channels from me and my friends. Unwell Music. The latest episodes of your favorite podcasts. Amy Schumer, Monica Lewinsky, Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton, Winnie Harlow, welcome back.
Hello, Cora Daddy.
And more live, unfiltered conversations for the girls.
We're going to believe this. Who was it?
Why? Just search Unwell in the SiriusXM app.
The Point with Boomer Gordon.
For months, I've been listening to hockey people warn the Sabres. Don't move on from Dylan Cousins. This is the one you'll regret. The fact that you're trading in division is amazing to me. This guy can come back and haunt you like every Sabre does. But if I'm an Ottawa Senators fan, Jake, I'm over the moon on this trade.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
Leafs on to the West Coast with a 3-game trip that starts Thursday against the Sharks in San Jose. Trust that you'll stay up with us. 10:30 start time. Much to the chagrin of those folks in Edmonton who have to come to the rink early and play 7 o'clock games. Konechny onto the left wing side. A shot on the short side is stopped by Stolarz. Leafs got it freed up. Nylander one-hands it ahead. Nicely dug out there by Bobby McMahon. In across the line. Trying to play it in for Nylander. That goes high off a stick. And it is pushed to the line, but not out. Tipped in there by Tanev. Tanev against the boards, had it knocked away from him. Philadelphia works back in over the line. Tanev hustling back to get in the way of that. Now a shot from a sharp angle, bounces in front of the net, and it goes to the near boards in the Leaf zone. McMahon got the puck back out into neutral ice. Flyers turn the puck over. Leafs bring it in on the left wing with Matthews. A little toe drag move. Couldn't get it, and then he did, and a backhand Went just wide of the far post. Those wonderful set of mitts on number 34 almost pulled out the proverbial rabbit from the hat there, didn't he? 2:20 to go in the third period. Flyers get it out at center. And bank it down into the Toronto end. Benoit along the boards for Nyes. Back into the corner for Benoit. Up on the wing and played to center ice then by Marner. Flyers go back in their own zone. Philadelphia's road record will drop to 12-17-8 and 28-36-9 overall. 65 points this year. The Maple Leafs home record will improve to 23-13-1 and 43-25-3 overall and 89 points in the books. Flyers with it in the Toronto zone. Can't get it in front. Good play by Carlo to push it up on the wing, and an excellent play by Robertson to muscle it out. Scotty Lawton's in over the line but can't get around the defense. Brought back by Philadelphia up on the left wing. Couturier tries to go wide, sends a weak shot wide of the net. Mike Ross with information.
Last minute of play in the third period.
53 seconds left now as the puck is back in the Toronto end. Benoit up ahead for Camp. Camp tries to get it in across the line, but the Flyers are there. And they'll start back up ice on the far wing. San Jose, a team that has struggled mightily. Anaheim, not expected to be or won't be in the playoffs. LA is the team on this 3-game road trip that is the tough one, if you will.
And yeah, that's San Jose is the only team that they haven't beat at home yet.
That's right.
This season. By the way, we were talking about Jim McKinney a little earlier. One of my favorite stories about him was playing in Chicago. I believe Punch Imlach was the coach. And Jim McKinney, how he never got a shift up until about 3 minutes left in the third period. So with the Leafs down something like 7-1, 3 minutes left, Howie gets his chance to get into the game. And he goes out to the far end, asks for a timeout, and the officials goes back to Punch Imlach and says, "You want me to tie it or win it?" I think that was his only shift in a while. But just wanted to make sure he knew what the expectation was.
Well, that probably the decision was which stick he was going to use, right?
Yeah.
Final seconds ticking down. And the Leafs will put this one into the books.
Well, they do give up a goal there in the third period, but I think you like the fact that you hold the Flyers to just 2 goals and 19 shots. Philadelphia, they've got their own demons that they've been battling with, and back-to-back games where the Flyers give up 7 goals. And like we said, I mean, they lost by a goal against Washington, beat Winnipeg in a shootout. They have been able to beat Tampa in extra time as well in a shootout. So they are a team that on any given night can be competitive, but the 7 goals on 30 shots, and you look at the goaltending, you don't say it wasn't terrible. They weren't scoring on rich shots from the corner, but it's just no real big saves from the Philadelphia side of things, and because you're going to be challenged scoring goals. In fact, if you look at the shots on goal against, Philadelphia gives up fewer shots in a game on average than the Leafs do. So that's the importance of your goaltending. And tonight, no different. 7 on 30 shots does not bode well for improving the save percentage of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert with the post-game show to start things off, and a reminder to join us on Thursday night. 10:30 start when the Maple Leafs are on the left coast in San Jose. They haven't renamed that, have they? Still California? It's not. They haven't renamed anything out in California different other than the Gulf of America. That's the only thing.
It's still very much left.
Oh, good. It's still left coast. Yes. Okay, good. Anyway, 10:30 start time. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Opening day is this week, and the time is now to get your fantasy baseball draft advice on Fantasy Sports Radio.
I want to thank you guys for making me a better fantasy player.
From winning strategies, expert drafts, player projections, and more, you need our advice now more than ever.
When in doubt, wait for starting pitching. Don't overspend early when plenty of great arms will be there in later rounds.
Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the Sirius XM app. Your home for fantasy sports.
We deliver the NHL.
And I just wonder, Berkey, what your thoughts are on the Capitals. They are Exhibit A as to why a retool can work.
Yes, but it's early. Haven't had a playoff run yet. A lot of people taking vows right now that shouldn't be. I really like this coach. I think Chris Patrick, the GM, has done a real nice job. It is a retool, right? And the goaltending's been spectacular, but let's see. Don't pick out a parade route yet, boys.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
If you would have asked me, what's the one record that would never, ever, ever be broken? Was the 894 goals. Every single day he scores, that's sort of the lead story in the NHL. And yet here's Ovi about to do it, and he's going to push through 900 goals, and he could push to 1,000 if he wanted to if he played 3 more seasons.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the Sirius XM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network, a 7-2 thumping of the Philadelphia Flyers on home ice for your Toronto Maple Leafs getting back in their winning ways. That was a bit of a barn burner, as they would say.
Jumping in here real quick, we'll let the post-game run as always. That's what we do here on TSI. I missed the end of the game because TSI Allison got home. So, go Leafs, go. See y'all in the chat there. Love it. Carmen, Shield, Brad, Brian, Sandra. I love it. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Have a great rest of your evening. We'll see you tomorrow for the Raptors and Thursday for basketball and Blue Jays baseball. Back to the hockey, dissecting this beautiful 7-2 victory for our Toronto Maple Leafs. That's how you do it. You beat the teams in front of you handily that you should. Beat up the Broadstreet Bullies tonight. Good night, everybody. Cheers. I left my drink that I made my water upstairs because TSI Allison's home. We'll see you. We'll see you soon, everybody. Good night.
Kings on Saturday night, Sunday night against the Ducks, and then back home to play the Panthers, which will be quite the big one. We've got a good opportunity to wrap up here with the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365 must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca.
Okay, 10 games in the NHL tonight, and the Senators lost a disappointing one. They lose 3-2 to the Buffalo Sabres, so the Dylan Cousins Bowl goes to his former team. Senators drop 2 key points. Lightning beat up on the Penguins 6-1. Predators get a 3-1 win over the Carolina Hurricanes. End of 2. Blues have a 4-1 lead over the Canadiens. That's a big game. The Jets are up 2-1, end of 2 over the Capitals in a battle for the President's Trophy. It's 2-0 early Golden Knights over Wild. 2-1 Avalanche leading the Red Wings. Flames have an early lead after 1-0 over the Kraken. And still to come tonight, 2014 Stanley Cup Final rematch, Rangers and Kings.
Okay. Our next Sportsnet 590, the Fan Molson Leafs hockey broadcast is Sunday night, 8 p.m. Versus the Anaheim Ducks. And then we've also got another one on Wednesday versus the Florida Panthers, which we're looking forward to. A couple of big ones coming up. Leafs Talk with JD Bunkis and Sam McKee is next. Thanks for listening to Sportsnet 590, the Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs Talk, JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. Leafs dominate the Flyers. Shockingly sweep the season series against that team that, is bad. It's quite... I texted you. I don't think you answered. Would you rather have Ersson or Ayers?
Ersson. Seems like a better guy.
Yeah. Man, that was me in net.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I would look like.
Listen, that is a hurting unit of a hockey team. I don't know how long they've been on the road, but they're a mass unit. Like, it is just not pretty. They are not happy to be out there. They're just... Torts calls a timeout and just sits there in silence.
Immediately after, too, they gave up like a grade A scoring chance, like the very next shift.
He's benching Cam York for the whole game. Sick. Good job. What a great job you sent. What a great message.
Can I do quick Flyers talk here? Just quick.
What else are we going to talk about?
Well, I just got to say, what year is this of Torts there?
I don't know. That feels like probably 5, maybe.
I was going to say
6?
year 4. I want to say, 4 or 5. Like,
Google it quickly here as you're talking. Go ahead.
Speak. It's like, what's the point here? Like, Tortorella, you've been hard on these guys. You've been hard on 3, though. And it's like, what is the progress that you're seeing with this guy? What is the point of doing the John Tortorella thing? And you know that I have a point of aggravation, which is that he's a jerk to the media nonstop. And then the second he gets fired, he's going to end up on a panel somewhere and just walk into a high paid gig, high profile gig, which is so annoying.
Yeah.
But like that Flyers team, if you're supposed to be the hard ass and they're the least disciplined group in the NHL, what does that say about you?
Yeah. The thing is, the front office has had a plan to like really rebuild this thing. And like we had Daniel Briere on our show, I don't know when, like December, and they were totally in a playoff spot, and like they were having a good start to the year, like they were playing well.
Yeah.
And we're like, are you changing? And he's like, no, we're gonna sell. Like, just the full stop was gonna sell, like had no designs on being any good. And I think they have 7 picks in the first 2 rounds this year. So like they are really trying to strip it down and, build it back up here. But yeah, I think he's just sort of the face, and they're trying to teach these young guys discipline and the Michkov thing. And
it's working.
I don't know. They suck. Yeah. Like, to quote him, we suck. Like he's got that famous quote. They're just a terrible team. He's got no really good players in that team outside of Sanheim and Konechny. And Michkov, I guess, who I barely noticed tonight. He had a couple moments, I guess, but like
I felt bad for Sanheim watching him try to just skate around.
God, he's a brilliant skater, man. He is. Like, you see why the Team Canada front office was enamored with that guy. Like the size and the smoothness. He is a beautiful skater. But God, it's gonna be a long time until they're decent. Like I don't see it being like a next year thing unless they trade some of those first. They overpay for Marner or do something at the draft. I don't know what they'll do, but not pretty. So Leafs talk now?
Yeah, Leafs talk. I'm ready for Leafs talk.
Oh, you wore your orange for the Flyers tonight. I didn't realize that.
The team, I've said this many times, but like as someone who's been to quite a few of these events, I hate Flyers fans as much as anybody. Like Flyers fans, it's always some big bald guy with tattoos and a black Flyers jersey in the stands, way too liquored up, talking trash. I hate them. I love seeing their downfall. Like I truly do. I have absolutely no love for the Flyers. Anyway,
we've probably talked about this enough on Leafs Talks with when they've played the Flyers in years past, but in our youth, this was the number one hated team.
Yeah, for sure.
Hated the Flyers. Yeah, Flyers and Sens. Like I hated the Flyers.
Yeah, despise the Flyers. Yeah. Have given me some really bad memories.
Really bad.
So Leafs Talk. I'm sure the chat is thrilled. I'm sure we've gotten some very sweet messages from the listeners for the Flyers portion of this show. There's one story to this game, and it's that the second line has really found something, man.
Yep. It's nice to see really working off of each other. Tavares continues his red hot play as of late with another 2 tonight. McMahon flying around, really brilliant tonight. I understand. Really I understand the competition, but that's what you would think an elite NHLer would look like in an AHL game, and that's what it kind of looked like tonight, where he's just had the puck so much. Entering the zone, that play he makes to McMahon, who scored his 20th, where he flies around behind the net, backhand sauce on the tape. It's just a thing, an absolute beauty here. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it. Like he is a really, really, up and down at times. But when he's on like he is tonight, there's not many guys better in the league. Scores his 40th. I got to tell you, this line, if they could ever get another couple lines in the team going here. Yep. This would really be a good mix. But yeah, tonight they looked really, really good against some poor competition. But they've looked good against good competition too. So you got to take it and with a grain of salt at times. But I thought tonight they were good.
No, I think it's real, man. What you're seeing with these guys, and it's like there's the thing that I really love about them is that not only are they dangerous in transition, right? Because that's clear. We've talked about McMahon's speed many, many times. We've talked about Nylander's ability to transport the puck, and like Tavares' little dipsy doodle tonight, It's right by the blue line. He was feeling himself.
The spinorama, that was Johnny Oshawa. That was a nasty little spinorama.
He was. You're right. It was a throwback to the OHL days. They are a different line than this team has in terms of their ability to cycle the puck as well. Because Nylander and Tavares are so good with the puck. It's so hard to get the puck off of these guys. Like they can just do exactly what you saw tonight, which is Nylander carrying the puck around the zone, flying around the net, keeping his head up, looking for teammates. And then Tavares and McMahon both have a nose for the net. Tavares knows where to go. McMahon knows where to go.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice formula. It's like they have not been scoring in transition since the break. They've been brutal 5-on-5. But it's just so nice to be able to see them like be able to score in a different way. And that's what this line can do.
Absolutely. And I think it's another night where you have to be pretty appreciative of the season that John Tavares has had for the Leafs.
Yeah.
Like when we all looked at the 7th year of this contract, we thought he might be like in a wheelchair by this time.
Well, funny how much winger talk was there? Like, well, they're going to kick him out to the wing. It's like,
there's something to be said for a contract year. And look at what just happened with Jacob Chychrun, who had a great contract. He was having a great contract year and got a contract out of it. So it happens in sports. But to be here in the year 2025, after he signed this contract, I don't think any of us pictured this is what it would look like. And he's on pace for over 35 goals. He's been at times. Think about back when Matthews was out, that stretch where he was away for I don't know how long. He came back a little bit and then he was out again. Tavares was brilliant over that stretch and was this team's number one center and held up against a lot of good teams. I got to tell you, I've been really impressed with this season he's had. And naturally, you start thinking about the future and what you're going to do with him and how much money you're going to pay him. But, that's all a conversation for the summer. But, God, you really have to appreciate how good he's been for the Leafs and just consistent, and a really, really good night for him tonight.
No,
good for him to get some cookies.
Totally agree. And listen, I actually have always been in the camp that he's going to age well just because it's not like he was a burner, right?
He never was a burner.
Yeah, exactly.
Even junior.
Yeah. So he's just kind of always been, we talked about this last show where it was like model of consistency. And this is kind of just like a little repetitive, but I never really thought Tavares was just going to have like a cratering effect by this time of his career. But I also, if you would have told me hey, he's going to finish the year with 35 goals when he's in his age 35 season, I would have taken the under.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I clearly would have done that. And he was just really good again tonight. And it bodes well for this time of year for an older player to look this fresh, because he does. He looks fresh. That line looks refreshed with McMahon. And now, that kind of brings me to the other piece of it, which is I'm not worried about the top line. I think that they're going to be fine. And, they were generating chances. Oh, last little mini point on the second line is that the first 2 goals go off skates, but I also just love it because it's traffic in front of the net. And I know one of them is on the power play, but this is something that we've been hammering this team for all year long. Hey, go to the net, go to the net, go to the net, just get pucks on the net. And that's what they did with these first 2 goals. So anyways, credit where credit's due. Yeah. I'm not worried about the first line. I think that they're going to be fine. Will we judge them in the postseason? And will I be nervous when they're not scoring 5-on-5? Sure. But there's just so much talent there.
Yeah.
The second line seems to have unlocked something. But I'm very curious to see what they do and how they continue with the bottom 6, because it's like a joke night against the Flyers. And I know Domi scores that goal at the very end to make it the complete laugher, the 7-2 one, where Ersson, again, like ghost, finds a way to poke the puck through him. But overall, I just didn't find them to be really noticeable. And I still don't really know what the purpose of the line is.
I was tracking it because I was really interested in Scott Laughton and where he was at. And our great friend and colleague, Ben Ennis, pointed this out as well on X, that Domi scores that goal. That got Scott Laughton back to even.
Nice.
So if that goal doesn't go in, he finishes -1 in a 6-2 game against his former team. Listen, I don't know. This is just what it's going to look like, I think, and you just got to hope it gets hot, right? I don't know. What else are they going to do? They're going to bring Nyes down to the bottom 6. They're going to put Domi up top and kind of try to reinvigorate the bottom 6 by bringing a couple guys down. Bring McMahon down, put somebody up with Tavares. And like, you can try all these different things, but that you're just robbing Peter to pay Paul. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Robbing Peter to play. I can't say
just to pay Paul. You don't
pay Paul. Pay Paul to pay the guy named Paul. Anyways, I don't know. It just feels like you're kind of shuffling deck chairs. I think you're just going to kind of throw this over the boards and hope it kind of works and hope it kind of gets hot. But is Robertson starting game 1, I guess? It's going to be Holmberg or Camp or Yarncroc is the scratch rotation. To me, it's all kind of the same thing, and you just hope for a couple lucky ones at the bottom 6.
It's just a problem because you're right. It's like they keep moving the bottom 6 guys around, and it's like, why isn't this working? It's because your bottom 6 guys, they don't really fit together. And Berube tried to make the identity line right with Laughton down on the 4th and then kicked him over the wing.
What their identity was? Getting caved in every night. That was the identity.
And also it was like the identity of getting a player that you're playing in a role that is not befitting of him, because Laughton is better this. And I said this on my show today. I led with it. It takes a lot for me to like really feel for a player. And I feel for Laughton right now. You can just tell this is a millstone around his neck. And I just wanted him so badly to get a cookie tonight, right? Like it would have been awesome against his former team. One of those pucks to bounce off his ass and just go in the net, like find a way for it to just go in. Even I'm like, he's facing his former team for the first time. He's been a Flyer for life, and Robertson gets blown up on a play, and he's the first guy there. Like, God, you got to scrap one of your buddies as you're feeling horrible about yourself. It feels like all the breaks are going against him. The only thing that I would say about the second line being so good right now is that it's not a problem, obviously, but I still believe that the only way to actually create 3 lines is to spread out the 3 players and to have it where it's like Marner with Tavares, Matthews with Nyes and Domi, and to put Nylander down on a line where he gets a look with Laughton and I don't know, Yarncroc probably, I would say would be like the top 9 that I wish we would have seen. And I was texting this with you and Bourne last night. Like I threw those lines out to you guys and
I saw that. There was a lot of messages. I didn't read any of them.
It was mostly Bourne and I talking about the line.
Got away from you. I was like, that's too much. I'm gone.
Well, he and I love doing the line talk. And then he tweeted about it today with his variation, which is like bump Nyes down and have McMahon there and try to go with like a bigger third line.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, the biggest shame would be if Marner walks in the summertime. That we'll never have gotten a lengthy look at what this team is like with the 3 studs spread out over 3 lines.
No, it's because it's written on the coach's handbook for the Toronto Maple Leafs, regardless of who coaches them, that you have to play either Marner, Matthews, Marner and Tavares, or Nylander. They have to always be together, those 4.
Yeah.
No matter what. You can switch them. That's the big move.
Yeah.
You can flip them. When they're not going, you can flip the wingers and away you go. That's
game.
allowed. A game.
For one game.
Maybe not even the whole game.
Yeah.
Maybe for like the first 45 minutes of a game, you could do it. But then you got to flip it back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I love dreaming about this stuff. And I love, thinking of a world where they're actually going to happen. But what is it? April 19th, game 1. You know what's coming, bud.
Yeah.
It's just there's no point in even really talking about it. There's 12 games left in the season. They're not changing it now.
No, there's 11 now. This was the 12th remaining.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I get it. And I kind of feel like we're spinning in circles with it, but it's like, it is one of those things where, again, the second line, awesome. Like a ton to it right now. You feel great about it. And it's just like, what are you going to do with a third line that can't make an impact in a game where it's just a complete beatdown? Like, I guess they played good defensively to a degree. Like the Flyers ended up with how many shots tonight? Nothing. When it was the game was over, they started to generate like a little bit, and I thought Toronto got a bit sloppy, which is natural when you're up 6 goals. Yeah. So I didn't really care too much about that, or 5 goals, whatever it was when it was 5.
But you look at some of the Lightning's third line, and it's like you're going to send out Robertson and Domi against, they got that guy they got from Seattle on their third line, Bjorkstrand with they got Nick Paul down the middle. The Panthers have that Luosterainen that they're just like shutdowny type guys who are playoff type players. It's just, I don't know. I can't picture it working, but they're going to try.
Yeah.
They're going to try their damnedest to make it work. They're going to make fetch happen, buddy.
I got to tell you. So again, when it comes to like the positives in terms of trying to project this team, it was another night where they just didn't give the Flyers really anything, right? Nothing. Like Philadelphia was I can't even, their best scoring chance was the goal they scored on, which is the turnover. Tavares tries to make like a backhanded play. Yeah. The second goal they score is just a beauty. There's just nothing that anybody could do about it. It's just like good stuff from the Flyers. Good tip by Couturier. But the first one is a bad turnover. You probably don't want to have that, especially to fall down in the hockey game. But overall, just like completely eliminated scoring chances from the Flyers. But secondarily, not even secondarily, but just the thing that I'm really honing in on in terms of real confidence right now is the power play.
Yes. It's nice because I think it was February last year, was it, that it had like the best month in NHL history? Mm-hmm. Was it February or January? Was it earlier in the season?
I think it was February last year where they lit it up.
And it went to ice, absolute ice. And there was a time earlier this season where it was a horrific watch for a long stretch of the season where it was really, really bad. And we said during those times, like, hey, maybe this is the flip this year. Maybe it gets hot at the right time. And it feels a little early for it to be getting super smoking hot. You wouldn't mind this to be like a week or two later, but they really do seem to have a ton of confidence on it right now. Yep. And it's rolling. Like they are stepping up to the tee and they're striping it down the middle. There's no overthinking it. There's no yips. There's no like overpassing. They gain the zone. Their big boys get it. They snap it around and it gets towards the net. And it's really, really encouraging to see this. If they get their penalty kill figured out, that'd be great. If they could go up against the Flyers power play every night, that would be spectacular.
That'd be really good.
They naturally, when Mike Johnson's like, they haven't scored one in 31 tries. I'm like, oh,
yeah, it's going back in that. Yeah.
And then I watch it. I'm like, oh, they're not going to get one all year. Like they're never going to score again on the power play.
So he's like, they have problems setting up. And I'm like, you don't say, as they can't gain the zone for like the third try in a row. It
horrible. But I like the last year, it was the most talked about thing in the playoffs with the power play. What was it? 1 for 24 or 1 for 20, whatever the hell it was. It was awful. This year, if you can get a power play going, the only year they've ever won a round, their power play was the first round. I think it was a 25 or 26% against the Lightning that year. It's a difference maker in the playoffs. You don't get a ton of chances. You need to score big goals and big spots on it. So really encouraging, and they're snapping it around.
Well, and if you're going to be top heavy the way that they are, right, where it's two lines, then the two lines have to score, and those guys got to get their spots. And I will say too, like you got to give a lot of credit to Savvy for sticking with the 5 forwards, because there was a moment there where you thought, oh, okay, well, we got to put a defenseman back there, and you don't want to be giving up opportunities. And it's just like those guys have gelled. And it really feels so dangerous. Nyes feels immovable in front of the net. Marner is making brilliant reads over and over and over again. And just like the way that he starts to encroach and walk down, the way that it's felt like you and I have always talked about how so many times the power play felt too predictable. And it was like they were trying to funnel too much to Matthews. Mm-hmm. And now it's like both Nylander and Matthews both feel incredibly dangerous. They will just fire pucks on net, and they will just let the two big horses in front do damage and try to dig at pucks and get deflections and screen goaltenders. And yeah, I'll tell you, like, I just feel an immense amount of confidence right now when they step out onto the ice. It feels like they're going to score every time.
I agree. It's weird though that they don't get any real one-timers to Matthews anymore, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. He was never like a huge,
but like, anyway. But I mean, he's, but like, it feels like he never gets a wide open wrister in that sweet spot anymore. And I don't know if it's,
it has to do a lot more with the fact that it's like they don't try to just make him the focus.
Yeah, for sure. But they're getting pucks to the net. But you think about when it used to go really well, and they get that cross seam pass from Willie to Matthews, or Marner to Matthews, and it'd be in the back of the net with a wrister. But it's nice to see it go well. And if they get their penalty kill figured out, which has been a bit of an issue for them for a while here now, they can flip that around and get both of those things going towards the first round. That'd be a huge help. Huge help.
Yeah. I think that you touched on it though, when you mentioned that they look confident.
Yeah.
Because if you've been watching this team for a long time, when the power play's struggling, you're looking at them and you go, oh, they're not going to get out of this for a while. Like it's going to take a little bit for them to find it. And so for them to be, you're right. It's like a little early, but they're in a groove that I don't think is going to be shaken here. God,
oof.
Like
holy, I'll touch the fake wood on this IKEA desk that I got here.
Yeah. I think this is real. This is real wood.
You're a man of fancy things. That's definitely a real wood desk.
I got some real wood. Okay. That don't clip that. I really don't have much from this game, man. David Kampf scored a beautiful breakaway goal.
I think that is by far the nicest goal of his career.
Yeah.
That is
the Chicago.
Well, I mean, the Chicago one was meaningful because in the alternate universe where they don't score that goal, they like lose every game, and they don't make the playoffs that year, which is a long way back. It was a backhand one. But this is
if you could have frozen time, like as he's making the move in though, and live bet it, like what was goal? Like plus 300?
Yeah. I think I would have really thought he was going to shoot one low glove, like just shoot as hard as he can. But it just shows you, like, even the butchers in the NHL are nasty.
Yeah.
And when you get a one-on-one with a guy like Erison, where he's like, I can do whatever I want on this guy, David Erison, as we're calling him tonight, he just made a great move and he scored. And good for him, because he's in the scratch rotation, which I don't necessarily agree with that decision.
Yeah.
Like I think Kampf is overpaid, clearly makes a little bit too much. But I do think he's a valuable guy on their penalty kill. And, just as a fourth line center, I think he's totally fine. But Berube, I don't think necessarily loves him, scratched him a few times, but he gets a goal. So good for him. And it's a really nice move.
Well, I was thinking the same thing where I'm like, this guy's been out of the lineup. He's obviously pissed off about it. He's a proud guy. He's a vet. He plays like, that's one of the things he's prided himself on in his career is like he plays games.
Yeah.
And now he's sitting in the press box. So for him to get a nice one, like you could see it on his face, like he's happy. Guys are talking on the bench about the move and he cracks the smile. It was a good moment for him. But Erison.
David Erison. There's few things that guys that are really good at hockey love than a guy who's not as good as them scoring.
Yeah.
That is, I can just guarantee, like they might even give him the belt tonight. It's just, it's a feeling when you're on the bench and a guy in the fourth line tucks one in, you're so happy. Like you're so excited about it. They know he's been in and out. So I wonder who gets the belt. I bet you there's a chance Kampf gets the belt for that goal.
Yeah. I'd say like, if you were doing the percentages, it's probably like God, it feels like a Tavares got to get it.
Yeah, maybe Tavares. What do you have, 4 points tonight?
But so did Nylander. So maybe the fact that they both had 4 points, they just cancel each other out and they hand it to Camp because he came back in the lineup and he buried one.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah. Is zero ability to judge anything Stolarz did tonight.
Yeah, I didn't love the first one, but Riley kind of screened him. It just was from far out. Good shot, kind of screened him.
See, again, this is one where I just don't blame the goaltender because it's like, Tavares, why are you making that play? And then with the forwards, both have just decided they're like, it's icing. We're going to fly the zone. You're like, no, it's not. Come back.
Willie wasn't even in the shot yet.
No.
Like when he hammers that, it comes around and they showed the back view of it. And he was like at the blue line when Buddy was getting ready to hammer it. So like it was a bit of a cheat for sure. Far out. Second one, no goalie on earth stopping. So I don't think you judge. Hey, gets a win against one of his former teams. Good for him. And you move on. So it does not. I'm not going to make any sweeping narrative thoughts on Anthony Stolarz night.
The only thing from it is like it's still a win, right? But it's like you didn't get anything. And so I recommend people, by the way, go listen to my podcast from today. I had Kevin Woodley on and I broke down the goaltending and he had some great stats, but it's like the eye test has bore out in terms of the bad goals for Stolarz. And both guys have been amazing all season long. Like he said, combined, they're doing better than like a lot of starters in the NHL, good starters in the NHL in terms of letting in the low danger chances. Like they've been really, really solid at not allowing those ones. But I just am curious for a coach that seemingly is like wanting to get the hot hand going. It's like, all right, Stolarz is now put two together. Like how this deployment kind of works or how his mind is thinking about a game like that, which is basically a nothing game from the goalie, but does end up in a win.
Yeah, totally. There was a moment in this game. I don't know. We don't play any audio ever on this, but when Nick Robertson ran into whoever that guy was, and he screamed, the ref screamed, "That's just two guys. Hey, that's just two guys running into each other."
Yeah, it's so good.
Refs have actually some of the good ones have a sneaky ton of personality, and like you have to have a lot of personality to be able to do that. Because listen, like at the end of the day, it's decision making, but you got to talk to players, you got to talk to coaches. Like there's all this stuff to it. Them mic'd up is great. I love any like ref mic'd up moment where they're like talking to players and the conversation and the relationship between players.
Yep.
It's an incredibly, incredibly hard job.
Well,
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's a horrible job to try to do it. But I love when you get to hear a ref showing a little bit of personality, except Wes McCauley when he like tries to make the show about himself. 2 minutes for fighting. I'm like, shut up, dude. Like that's the most cringe stuff you could ever do. But like I do love the in the moment ref stuff with the players. I think they're hilarious.
Yeah, little ref talk here. But the one thing I always give refs the most credit for too is that in hockey you can still just swear at them and cuss them down. They take it. And in in basketball, it's like if you spike the ball too hard, you don't pass it back to the official. It's like technical. NFL, you can't talk to officials that way. No, there's no just like you know what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, you would have almost swore 17 different times there. Good job, buddy.
I'm trying to be good. I've already had my warnings. I think that it's a cool thing about hockey that the refs and the players converse with each other in a really passionate game with passionate talk.
Yeah, I love it. And that's just those two guys run into it. Hey, that's just two guys run into it. And like there's like a big scrum. It's just it's very uniquely hocky. And I loved it. My last, I guess, is a rapid fire. And this is like a more of a hockey general take. But you shouldn't get second and first assists on an own goal. Drives me crazy. Why, like Willie Nylander banks that one in off whoever that guy was standing in front. And like, why does two people get an assist on that? It's an own goal. It shouldn't even count really. Like, I wish soccer did the thing where it was own goals. You don't get credit for it. Like, you put it into a dangerous position. I understand that. And you get the goal. And I don't think the Players Association is going to sign off on that one anytime soon, but you shouldn't get secondary assists on a goal that bounces off a guy's skate. Drives me nuts. I don't know if that's a stupid take, but it just drives me crazy.
No, I listen, I won't say that. It's one of those things where it really doesn't bother me too much in terms of either way.
Maybe I
I'm
need
not.
a hobby.
I'm not a fan of the like soccer idea where it doesn't count as a goal for you because I just think goals are hard to score, and if you're the last guy to touch it and goes in the net, who cares? But yeah, I don't think that's the worst. And by the way, David Camp, according to Jessica Haidt, I think I got that right.
Hate.
Ooh,
hate me hate.
Yeah,
hate me hate.
Yeah, she says Camp did get the belt, and the
there you
producer
go.
checked, and it's correct. So,
do I know hockey guys or do I know hockey guys?
Great call by you. Great call by you.
Knew it.
Okay, so we're off on Thursday. It's home opener for the Blue Jays, and it's a 10:30 start with San Jose Sharks, so we won't have that one. But
sorry, guys. Sorry, friends.
Yeah, but then the rest of the way we got it, and then we're like into playoff time. So final 10 stretch. We'll have some guest hosts in there when you're in Hawaii. Subscribe to the podcast, leave a thumbs up, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkus, at Sam A. McKee, and we will see you again on Saturday night.
You're on Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Holy Browns move. Cleveland fans are going to riot, and the Giants will be like, okay, we'll just pick the best player available, and that's whether that's Abdul Carter or Travis.
He's still got a chance to do that, right? I haven't looked at it today. I don't know how many points he's behind, but
this is
he's going to be
just
one of
the ballback move. They don't have to look like idiots.
Hey, insiders!
If they're banking on Shador and Shador's not there.
Now Cleveland wants to go ahead for being part of this amazing community. With March Madness in full swing, we need your help. The TSI Bracket Mania campaign is raising money for SickKids Hospital in Toronto through the Final Four. A portion of the proceeds from every single game goes directly to SickKids. Click the pinned link in the chat or the description to donate. Every bit helps. Can't donate? No problem. Just share the campaign with your friends or on social media to make a huge impact. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Clink the link, and holy Mackinac, let's help heal the future.
Check out the link that is in the description as well as in the chat that shows where all of the live viewers are watching from. Are you an insider yet? Have you hit that subscribe button? I bet you have now. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for checking out our Bracket Mania campaign. A lot more coming up soon.
What a great scene this is. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us.
to draft a quarterback. They also did not take themselves out of the running to hurt themselves in the long term financially. So it's not going to hurt them in 2025. It's not going to hurt them in 2026. And if it's not Shedeur, they can still draft another quarterback. And then you're learning from Russell Wilson, who, again, we make fun of him a lot, but I think there are worse guys that you can learn from. So the Giants, in a situation where they had nothing, now have a few different options. And I got to tell you, in my years of experience, having a few different options, it's a lot better than having no options. So I'm crediting the Giants for doing like the bare minimum here, but I am crediting the Giants for what they did. There is another team at the top of the draft board. Oh, you know what? A part of this story, I guess, you mentioned him, Aaron Rodgers. I understand that he visited Pittsburgh on Friday. There's nothing that I could say right now about Rodgers that I haven't said. He didn't sign. He's not going to sign. He's going to be a Steeler. He's going to sign this summer. I'll continue to say it. You heard it here first. Okay? Because